Hey, yo, what's going on? Right now, you watching Casino Is the Name. Sitting here with my man, Corey. So, Corey, well, matter of fact, I'm going to let Corey go ahead and tell you a little bit about himself.
All right, my name is Corey Robinson. I was born in South Carolina. Went to college at FAMU, got an engineering degree. Went into the Navy. Started my real estate career or my investing while I was in the Navy kind of by happenstance. I did mention I was from South Carolina. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. Just had to get that out the way. I started my real estate actually by happenstance when I was in the Navy. Actually, I was going to be stationed in Charleston, South Carolina. I didn't know whether I was going to be stationed at the Navy base or the Air Force base. So I didn't have enough money to buy a house as big as I wanted, as nice as I wanted. So I ended up buying a townhome near the Air Force base and another one near the Navy base. When I found out I was going to be working at the Air Force base, I moved into that one, rented out the other one.
Okay.
And as the rent check started coming in, I'm like, this rent check is a little bit more than what my mortgage is.
Okay.
So it ended up being a little bit of spending money in my pocket. And once I moved, I'm like, I think this works. So I came to Georgia and started again kind of slow. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so a little bit of background on Corey. Corey has how many rentals?
I've got 10 rental properties. 6 of them are duplexes, 4 single-family homes. So in the industry, we kind of call it by door. So those 6 duplexes are 12 doors.
Okay.
So those 12 doors plus the 4 single-family, we say we got 16 doors.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, I thought it was just 10. So that's a lot more doors actually than I expected. All right, so you also do some flipping?
I do. I do about 3 a year, but that's one of the things I want to do a little bit more this year. I want to scale my business. I want to increase my doors to about 25 to 30, and I also want to increase my volume on my flips. Talking to Kelley earlier this week, he says he can get the flips done in 6 weeks. So I'm definitely going to talk to Kelley
right.
And see if we can get more volume in the flips.
So this week on Casino Is the Name, we pretty much focused in on real estate, the flipping, the rentals, things like that, because I know a lot of people were asking about it. So I wanted to bring some guys in who do it and do it for a living and actually are active in what they're doing. Like they're flipping. You have a closing coming up on
Wednesday. We're closing on a duplex on Wednesday.
He's closing on a duplex on Wednesday. I'm gonna try to get some footage of that for the channel. So we're gonna go to an actual closing. Tomorrow we're gonna go to a property that Corey is planning to Airbnb. This is his first time trying to Airbnb. So we're gonna go to
it's on Hall Street in Atlanta.
It's on Hall Street in Atlanta. So we're gonna go check it out. We're gonna walk through. He has a stager who's staging it right now. Staging is very important. Could you explain how important staging is?
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, I'm new to the Airbnb business. It kind of came up by happenstance as well. I had a vacant unit in the top of my duplex. You got one unit on the bottom, one on the top. Okay. And I realized, wait a minute, the Super Bowl is coming up. And I keep hearing about people making money on Airbnb.
Super Bowl coming to Atlanta. In case you don't know, we're in Atlanta, Georgia right now. So Super Bowl is coming here this year. So what he's saying is he's trying to get prepared because he believes that Airbnb is going to make a killing around Super Bowl time.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put it on the Airbnb, make as much money as I can. I hear people are making $1,000 or more a night to rent out their home for Airbnb. There are people that are going to live with family members out of town.
That's crazy.
Their own home on Airbnb.
$1,000 a night.
Yeah. So I'll give it a test run, and after that I'll see what the normal rate goes down to. And go from there. So that's one thing about real estate. It's versatile. You can do real estate in so many ways. You can do long-term rentals. You can do short-term rentals. We'll talk about that when we walk through it tomorrow. Okay. On that duplex, I can rent both units for about $1,000 each.
Okay.
But if I Airbnb it, that's $1,000 a month. Sorry. But if I Airbnb it, that top unit, I think not even during Super Bowl, during a regular season, I can probably make $2,500 to maybe $3,000
a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to make a little bit more money, but it's a little more active. So, you got a little more management in there.
Yes, and that's another important point. So Airbnb and short-term rentals, that is not passive income. That is active income. You actively have to work that. There is a lot of moving parts, cleaning, depending on what kind of tenant or renter you have in there. It's a lot of different parts of that. So that is an active investment. Don't let anybody tell you it's passive. And there are new regulations that are supposed to be coming to govern Airbnb. So,
the government never wants you to have too much money or too much fun. So The city of Atlanta, I understand, is thinking about adding a hotel tax to people that are doing Airbnb. I'm not sure if that's going to happen yet, but they're talking about it. So, and you said something really key there when you said passive. A lot of people, when they talk about real estate investing, they talk about flipping and rentals kind of in the same vein. They're completely different.
Completely different.
Apples and oranges. I would more so compare the rental business more to a mutual fund.
Okay.
Because a rental business should be passive.
Okay. Well, first explain what a mutual fund is.
Okay. Well, mutual fund, we can talk about that, is you pay somebody or a company or organization to pick stocks for you, to diversify your portfolio, so you don't just tank in one night. If you got all your stocks in Coca-Cola and something happens, everybody starts drinking water, your retirement portfolio doesn't disappear overnight. So depending on how good your mutual fund is, it'll probably perform at, what, 10% in good market, you know. So you would compare it to that, but you send that money there every month, every week, and you don't pay any attention to it. You just leave it alone. So that's how rental investment should be.
It's like a retirement fund.
Exactly. Actually, I'll do some numbers on.
So he brought his
the duplex that I'm actually buying
draw some numbers
next month,
for you guys, so you can see.
Is approximately $100,000.
Okay.
And as an investor, since this is not my first home, I'm gonna have to put down 20%. So you put down 20K, that's your 20K investment. At that price, my mortgage, including taxes, insurance, all the escrows, my total out-of-pocket expense is $650.
Okay.
So that's my expense.
Per month?
Per month.
Okay, so he's saying $100,000 investment property, put 20% down, so he's got to put $20,000 down, out-of-pocket, everything. That's including the mortgage?
Including the mortgage.
Including the mortgage, escrow, taxes, insurance, whatever. Everything included is $650 a month.
Correct. So
that's really good.
Each unit rents for $700. Okay. So your earnings every month is $1,400.
Okay. 650.
650.
Yeah.
So that's $750 profit. $750 profit per month. But I know people say, wait a minute, these are rental properties. You got to account for vacancy. You got to account for repairs. You got to account for all that things. So you don't want to give any false hope here. So I take out 25%
of the $1,400. Okay. So you always want to take out a certain percentage of whatever the rental income is for repairs, for vacancies and things like that. He's saying he uses a full 25% to come out of that.
Correct. And that accounts for all that. It's a good estimate. Reason why banks use that estimate.
Right.
So that's $400 profit per month.
Okay.
Right. So in a year, you'll make $4,800. Right. Your initial investment was, I'll just do that calculation. I don't need to write that one down. Your initial investment was $20,000. So that's a return on investment
24%.
Of 24%.
So you get a 24% return on your investment versus if you try to go get a mutual fund, and a really, really good mutual fund is probably not going to pay more than, say, 12%. And that's a really, really good mutual fund. And right now, almost all mutual funds and stocks are tanking because of the economy and the stuff going on with the wall and other things like that. So
that's another thing.
Okay.
The stock market can change overnight.
Absolutely.
You can lose your investment by 2 words from Trump on TV, and he can wipe out your retirement fund just that quickly. The real estate market will fluctuate, and it may go down, but you see it going down, and you can react before it tanks.
Okay. And so can you talk about some of the risk involved with it? Because this sounds really good, right? This all sounds good, but it comes with some risk, some work. So
it's some headaches.
It's some headaches. Yeah. Okay.
So the key is making it passive. One of the biggest headaches is dealing with problem tenants and major repairs. So if you make it passive, I know it's going to cost money to hire a property manager. Trust me, I know this the hard way. My phone will ring, text messages, something's broke. Getting, tenants, you get in conversations all the time, and it ends up draining your energy and your time. So the key is make sure Hire a property manager, a good property manager.
Okay.
So you make that business pass.
So now, was this including the cost of the property manager?
Typical property management, 7 to 10%. So that estimate is in there. And the bigger your portfolio gets,
okay. Right, of course,
you can get a cheaper rate.
So of course, it's harder to do with maybe 1 or 2 properties than it is.
What's up, Kelley?
What's good, bro? What's good? Hey, Kelley should be here, you know. So I did a segment with Kelley where we walked around and we visited 4 flips that Kelley and his team was working on, as well as we did a segment with all of us sitting. And so you guys can check that out also. And right now, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, so in this percentage, in that 25% that you took out for repairs and other kind of things, the property management fee is also included in that 25%?
Correct. Like I said, it's an estimate.
Okay.
But if you manage it right, if you do your preventative maintenance, change your filters instead of waiting until they crash.
Right.
Do that kind of thing. Make sure you're proactive when you get your properties vacant. Get somebody in there quickly, get it painted, get your carpet clean, get somebody pretty fast.
Okay.
Typical vacancy rates, people use between 5 and 7% on the vacancy rate.
Okay. Now, so what happens if, because this is long-term investment, right?
Correct.
So this is not...
That's the long game.
This is the long game. I love the long game, but this is the long game. This is not, you know, we're going to get $1 million this year with this one strategy. That would be more so flipping and other creative
Absolutely.
real estate, wholesaling, things like that. Property managers are great. That's right. Yo, we're going to have to go back. In a second, we're going to go back. We're going to read all of these comments. But I am curious as to see how many times can you do this process in a year?
Rentals?
Well,
buy one
and do this process
as fast as you can go. Honestly, I think the key is getting a good realtor,
okay,
and a good property manager,
okay,
and that's the key to scaling.
Okay,
if your realtor is feeding you good deals,
so what would be a good year to you for a new person coming in? What would be a good year? Would it just be trying to get one down the first year?
I would say if you're just trying to start, get one and then go from there. I'll be honest, I've accumulated my 16 doors without really trying hard, honestly, because I work full time. So my goal this year is to be more intentional about building my portfolio. Okay. Honestly, I've been kind of being lazy about it. Okay. That's why I'm going to add some doors this year, actually.
Okay.
But I say start off at one. If you're lucky, get yourself a duplex, because I think the numbers on the duplexes are great, and move on from there. Well,
yeah, the duplex is going to be good. The reason why multifamilies work the best is because you have one roof, and if you have, say if you have 2 single-family homes and you need to repair the roof, you have 2 separate roofs that you may have to repair. And so you don't want to have to repair one, then the next year have to repair the other one. You want to have one roof that you can repair. I appreciate that, man. 24/7 Hustle just dropped the first super chat. I appreciate you. You have no idea. Please ask us a question. We're going to cover that first. But the multifamilies is good because repair costs are down. Well, not down, but they're located in the same place versus having to drop multiple amounts of money. Because you may not have a roof problem for 20 years, but there's a chance that when you're buying, this is used, right?
Yep.
And about what year was this house?
This is actually built in 70.
So 1970, which means that it's past 30 years, and the roof is probably a 30-year roof. So unless it's already been redone or something like that, when you buy old houses, you get old house problems. So just be mindful of that, and
you got to know what you're looking at.
You got to know what you're looking at.
That's another key.
You got to know what you're looking at.
Make sure you spend your $300 on an inspection. I personally don't get them inspected because
you know what
I'm looking at. Don't buy a property without getting an inspection. Okay. One of the other things I think the advantage is of buying duplexes is you spread your risk out. If you buy a single family home, your mortgage is $700 and you're renting it out for $1,200, you're thinking you're making a good amount of money, and you are in theory. Someone moves out for 2 months, you've wiped out your whole profit for the whole year.
Right.
In that duplex scenario that I mentioned, somebody moves out of one side, I'm still in the black.
Okay, you can still pay the mortgage without coming out of pocket, pretty much.
And also, the big key to this is generational wealth. I think a lot of times...
DJ Cadillac, what's happening, man? I see you.
We get money, and as people, we leave bills when we die.
Market going.
Who wouldn't want to leave something to their family when they die? Real estate is going to be here. You eventually pay it off. Yep. One other thing I want to put on this whiteboard.
And DJ Cadillac said, is the market going lower? What about condos?
I personally don't like condos.
Okay.
As far as investing in condos, I personally don't like condos. Why? Because you never really own it. You never really get to that free and clear point. You can buy a condo and you pay it off in 30 years or pay it off early, but you're always going to have your condo fees. So no matter how long you own that property, you're still going to have that expense. The goal in rental property is to eventually own it free and clear so you have no expenses other than maintenance so you can actually bring in more money.
James Brown said he tried to keep up. Casino everywhere. Yes, man, I'm out here. I'm active. We finna do this thing.
What's up, Antoine? Yeah, we do need to catch up.
Yeah, hey, my sister said check your message. She said check your text. So I want to go and read some of these questions that you guys have. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning and see what I've missed. All right, so hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Princess done brought some questions in here. Princess says, okay, Miss Jones says, what's a good area in Georgia to buy a four-plex with a VA loan?
Wherever you can find it. Four-plex is, that's honest truth. Four-plexes are hard to find. And if you find one in an area, I would say get it. And you can do with the VA loan. You can live in one unit and you can get your zero down and move forward with that. So that's one good way to start off with investing. Use your VA loan, zero down, live in one unit, and you can live in it 2 years. Buy another home, and that's your investment property.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this other question from Stephen Lott. This is how it was brought to me. I don't know if I haven't read it on here yet, but it says, do you sell pounds or let the bank earn the interest from the property tax insurance you collect from the tenant?
And was that tax benefits or passive? I'm not really sure what he meant by that.
Sell pounds?
But I saw at the bottom. No, I don't sell pounds. Let's put that for the record.
No. You're not selling pounds out
But
here, okay?
at the bottom it says something about tax advantages, right?
I was like, what? What are you? What are we talking about? Oh, self-impound. Self-impound. Do you self-impound?
You mean, is that a depreciation?
Oh, he said, my bad. I was like, where you from?
I'm not quite sure, but still, I saw something about the tax benefits. So
okay.
I think that's what he was getting at.
Do
The
you
tax
self-impound?
I heard a lot of people say if you have rental property, you shouldn't be paying taxes. If you're paying taxes and you have rental property, you or your accountant is doing something wrong. There's so many tax advantages of owning real estate. That's one of the big reasons to get in. You can depreciate the property. All your expenses are deductible. If you have a vehicle, if you have a truck and you self-manage your properties, the cost of that truck, the gas you put in that truck, your maintenance on that truck are all tax deductible.
Okay, so I'm going to go through and read some of these questions. I see a lot of people in here dropping where they from. Matter of fact,
and Denise said wanted to mention that mentioned what I do full time. I'm an engineer full time, and I got my real estate license, so I'm not a full time agent. I got my real estate license because I wanted to be able to buy my properties myself, write my own contracts, earn money from my own listings, and I wouldn't have to deal with another agent. If I work hard, it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm looking at properties and I decide to write a contract, I can do it myself. And I can also negotiate with my own commission. We get 3% commission on each deal. If I want to sell my property fast, I'll put in the listing, I'll let the other agent take a percentage. So the other agent will get 4% and I get 2%. I don't care about losing that 1% because I'm making my money off the investment.
Cool, so we have 81 people in here. I appreciate everybody coming in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I see people dropping where they from. I see you, South Carolina, North Carolina. I see y'all. Let me know where y'all from. Okay, and so Zenum asked, what is a VA loan? And also, I guess that the video stalled. So what is a VA loan?
VA loan is a regular mortgage that's backed by the Veterans Administration.
Well, tell them like the different types of loans.
Okay, you've got a conventional loan. You're probably going to put down more money, but you pay less points.
It's about what percent? 3.5.
That's FHA.
FHA. I'm sure.
Conventional. Sometimes you can, if you got really good credit, sometimes you can get a conventional loan at 5%, 10%. But FHA is a good program but you have to pay FHA funding fee and that type of thing. But it's only 3.5% down. So if you buy a $100,000 house, all you have to do is come to the table with $3,500 down, and you can buy your property. And again, you can buy a duplex under FHA.
Yeah.
Even better than that is a VA. VA is a mortgage that's backed by the Veterans Administration, but you have to be a veteran, someone performed and served in the military to get that loan. So the VA backs that loan. So if you somehow foreclose on that loan, the Veterans Administration will take it over. So there's a VA funding fee in that, but the VA wraps it up. So you still come to the table with $0.
Okay, so we have a question saying, is there a way to have a property tax exempt, maybe purchased with some type of trust?
I'm not sure about the trust. I'm going to get into that soon. I need to learn about that. I've been buying my properties in LLCs. That's something one second, I'll talk about that. Okay. That's a good thing.
Okay,
we'll talk about. Yeah. Zero property taxes. The only way I know to have zero property taxes is if you're a 100% disabled veteran.
100% disabled veterans get free property, well, no property tax.
On your personal home, though.
Personal home, and even if you don't own the home, and if they're married, then their spouse can get it if they use that benefit. Not everybody uses it. I've been trying to tell some people I know to do that, but they still haven't done it, and I don't know why not. Okay? They probably on here watching, so you know I'm talking to you. Anyway,
LLC. When they talked about the land trust, that's another form of asset protection, but LLC is a great way to protect your assets. I used to buy properties in my own name. All you got to do is go to the tax records, look up someone's name, and you can see everything they own. What you should do is set up an LLC. It's real simple. Go to the Secretary of State's website and set it up. And when you buy your properties, buy it in the name of your LLC, your limited liability company. That limits your liability. So if something happens in that property, if you have 20 investment properties and you own all of them each in a separate LLC, someone slips and falls and, God forbid, hurts himself and sues you, and they win. They can take everything that company owns. Right. But if the only thing that company owns is that house, that's the only thing they can get. They can't get your personal assets, and they can't get anything that you own in another entity.
Yes, and my sister just messaged me and told me that to also make sure that we note that the property tax benefit is different for VA, 100% VA disabled veteran based on the state. So not all states have.
Okay. Georgia's very veteran friendly.
Yes, absolutely.
Georgia and Texas.
Yeah, man.
I think
move
Florida.
To Atlanta and
very
buy
veteran
mansion
friendly.
and don't pay no taxes on it.
Exactly. On Cascade.
For as long as you live, if you're 100% disabled veteran. But you know, your kids, if they take over, they're gonna have to pay. All right. So DJ Cadillac said, how hard is it to get a 203K?
It's paperwork intensive. The home that I bought was a foreclosure. But it's paperwork intensive, but it's worth it, in my opinion. To get a 203K loan, it's a FHA loan, and it's a FHA rehab loan. And I like to use simple, easy numbers. If you see a home that's on the market for $100,000, but it needs a little work, you need about $20,000 to make it live how you want it. Typically, banks lend on a property that needs a lot of work. But with the FHA 203K, you give them your scope of work, and you give them what your $20,000 is going to do to fix it up, and they will not only give you the money to purchase that property, they will give you $20,000 to rehab it. Okay. They won't give it to you in your pocket. It'll be an escrow account. Okay. You hire a contractor, and they'll pay the contractor as they complete the job. So in the end, you'll have a mortgage of $120,000 and a renovated home. So I think it's worth the paperwork, and I think it's worth the headache, but it is paperwork intensive to get a 203K loan.
Okay. Any more questions out there? I'm liking these. Y'all got some great questions. I'm like, I should have asked that. Let me take a look and see what we got in here. And yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Y'all support, man. Drop a super chat if you want to. You know, I ain't tripping, you know.
Jasmine Booker said, do you recommend buying foreclosures or FHA? Actually, they're two different things. The FHA is a type of mortgage, and the foreclosure is just the status that the home is in. I always recommend buying foreclosures if you can get them at the right price. But a lot of times those foreclosures they need work, so you may have to do a FHA 203K loan or a hard money loan.
Okay, so somebody just said that Seattle, Washington is a very pricey
I've
area.
heard the whole West Coast.
But it is one of the hottest markets. So do you suggest investing in a pricey market because it's hot? Or do you still, because Atlanta is still affordable compared to, like, say, cities like LA, cities like, I guess, Seattle. I don't know anything about Seattle really, but places like New York, Atlanta is still a similar city as far as You got all the entertainment value, you got all the family structure, you got all of that kind of stuff, but it's still not overpriced for everything that you get. So somebody might be living in, say, Columbus, Georgia, and they see a house for $300,000 in Atlanta. Prep, what's good, bro? I see you, bro. Just watch you support my. Yeah, hey man, what's good?
Hot markets. I'm careful about anything that's hot. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe I'm just where the masses are going. I'm careful about going there. I like to march to my own beat. And so if the market is hot and it's expensive, it may be hot, but you're going to pay so much money you may tap yourself out, and all you can do is buy one investment property in that market. So I would invest in a market that you know, one that you're familiar with, but I would rather invest in one that's more affordable, that still may be hot and on the rise. Instead of a market like Seattle where you're going to overpay for a property. Yeah,
and so I said this on Miss Erica Williams' show, when in the future, not too far from now, almost everybody is going to be living in metropolis. So, and not even just like all metropolis, like all areas, just only certain major cities. Already, I believe 50% of people live in only 9 states. Georgia being one of them. So people are leaving the small towns, they're leaving the rural areas, and they're moving to the city. So I know a lot of people who go down to small towns and they buy a lot of like little small properties, and they probably getting a great deal, but longevity-wise, it may not be a good idea. But at the same time, going to a major market, say like in New York, and trying to buy an apartment, I mean, there is of course going to be value in places like New York, but you may be priced out, like how he was saying, well, those properties are still going up so fast that you may overpay, and you may never actually get the money back for that property through rentals in your lifetime. You know, like it might be a good plan for 50 years from now, but you might be 40 years old, you know, like you may not ever see the benefit of that. So you don't want to also just jump out there. So you got to like look at the markets. Atlanta is still not overpriced for the fact that we're compared to the major cities, the Dallases, the
biggest airport, the busiest airport, got all your sports teams.
We have everything.
You know, your mayor's from FAMU.
Right, we got the Mercedes-Benz Center, Beyonce and Jay-Z come all the time. So we have all of these things. Okay, I appreciate that, Michael. Shout out to you. Can someone use FHA multiple times? I
don't think so. FHA is usually on the owner-occupied property. So you have to sign an affidavit saying you're going to live in that property. So you have to be careful with FHA. You know, a lot of investors, that's a good question. It's good thinking, though. I like the thinking.
So I don't know a lot about FHA. I know what a VA loan, if it's anything like a VA loan, you can only use it once for like a period. Because I do have 2 VA loans. I have a house here and I have a house in Macon. And my house in Macon, I bought my VA loan. After a couple of years, I wanted to move to Atlanta. And I came up here and I built this house and I used my VA loan for that. You can buy up to 2 houses with a VA loan, but you'll have like so much of a benefit that you have to stay within inside. So I know you can do that, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna buy a house this month, and then next month I can buy another house. You have to. It's like a certain time frame, and you have to have certain reasonings why you're trying to buy another house in another area. So they look at how much benefit you have left, and because I bought a foreclosure for only $54,000, I still had a huge amount of benefit that I could to buy this house. So, and usually it's like 400 and some thousand.
Yeah, something like that.
You can buy up to 400 and something $1,000, $417,000, I believe, with a VA loan. So I don't know how the FHA is structured.
It's similar. I know you can't. You see, once you have one FHA loan, I think it may be 2 or 3 years. That's something we may have to look up for you.
It's not being used. Can someone partner? Not really, no. Not legally. I know people have. I've heard of people who've bought homes with their parents' their parents' VA loan, and basically it's still their parents' house, I guess, and they live there, and their parents still live. So, but technically they're supposed to live there. If you buy a home with the VA loan or FHA loan, you're supposed to live in it, and you can buy up to a 4-unit with a VA loan. Okay, go back to Prep's question. Yes, let me go back to Prep question because I didn't get a chance to see it. Princess, can you bring me Prep's question? That's Nate, in case y'all don't know, man. Man, he was in the military together. Okay. How many of those 16 doors are older? Have you had problems with the older ones?
Of those, the oldest one I have is built in the 70s.
Oh,
Actually, most of them are built around 2000 to 2005. I typically don't have a whole lot of, I bought a lot of these properties when the market dipped. And that's one thing too, when you say flipping versus rentals. When the market is dipping and going down, pick up a couple rentals. You know, don't overpay. But when the market's down, pick up a couple rentals, rent them out, hold on to them. Ultimately, the market is going to always come back. So in a few years, you can flip that home later and have some equity in it.
Okay, okay. And Zenum, I believe that was?
Somebody says it's auction.com legit. It is legit. You have to be careful because a lot of times they have very short due diligence periods. You're not able to check them out as much, but it is legit.
All right, so Zenum said, could you explain the 203K better? Like more detail.
Okay, yeah, I'd say it's a rehab loan that's backed by the Federal Housing Administration. So the example that I use is the purchase price of the house is $100,000 and it needs $20,000 in rehab. A FHA 203K loan will allow you to buy that house for $100,000. They will hold that $20,000 in escrow. You won't have that in your pocket, but they will have it in escrow. As your contractor completes those renovations, they will issue draws to that contractor to pay them. So in the end, your mortgage will be $120,000, but you'll have a renovated home. And the thing about that is, after you spend that $20,000 in that $100,000 home, your home may be very well worth $150,000 because you just put some money into it.
Right. Oh, so what about, okay, with the VA loan, I don't know, did you use a VA loan?
I did once, yeah.
So in case any of you guys out there are thinking about using a VA loan, do you have like a 10% disability, anything from the VA?
I do have a percentage. I'm working on it, getting a little higher.
Okay.
But yes.
So at least 10% VA disability, your funding fee is waived.
Yes, that's true.
So, and could you tell them what a funding fee is?
Your funding fee is kind of like points on a loan. Right. You know, it's the cost of getting that loan. It's not the interest rate. The funding fee, I hadn't used a VA loan in a while, maybe $2,000 or so. But the good thing about it, they'll roll it up into your loan.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to come up with that $2,000 or whatever that funding fee is out of your pocket. They'll roll it up into the loan, and you can keep using the VA loan over and over and over.
Okay.
I just sold the property that I used my VA loan on a few months ago. So now I've got my full VA entitlement back. If I want to go buy another home zero down, I can do it again.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me tell you about my situation. So I bought my house. I bought a foreclosure. The VA has to come. You know, they have to send somebody to inspect it to make sure it's on their, their quality. And so got the house inspected, bought the house. It was only $54,300. My mortgage was $405 a month at the time. Taxes have gone up a little bit, so now it's like $436. But it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, glass log cabin. Glass log cabin is like a, what they call a chalet or something like that. So big backyard, gated community, the whole nine. It was cool. Came up here, bought this house, built it from the ground up. Both houses, the only money that I spent was earnest money. I had to put the $1,000 down on both, $1,000 down back in 2008 for earnest money, $1,000 down on this house. I built this house, no money down, no funding fee, and I walked away with money both times at closing. They wrote me a little check. I don't even really know why I got money back. It was something, I don't even know why, but got the funding fees waived. And the way I did that is, and then we talking like no money down, no closing costs. The way I did it was I negotiated with the closer, this was the builder, but I negotiated with the closer previously, and I told them, I'll take care of the funding fee, because they already know you're gonna have to have a funding fee, usually with almost every loan. So I said, I'll take care of the funding fee as long as you take care of closing. But I got my funding fee waived, and I got them to pay for closing, so it all worked out.
Gotcha.
Can a child use the parent's VA loan?
No, it has to be a veteran. You have to be the veteran.
You gotta go in, you gotta do your thing. But they can buy it for you if they say, if they live there. I ain't gonna say if they say they live there. I mean, if they live there too, they can buy it for you. So, yeah.
Jasmine Booker, what are the requirements for renting out rooms? It depends on where your property's zoned. Atlanta has all these zoning I'm not sure what they're called, but it has to be zoned properly for you to rent out a room. It's actually called a private hotel. A lot of people rent out rooms and it's not necessarily zoned for it, and they enter into problems for that. But you can make more money renting out rooms individually, but it's very active business. You're collecting money from people more often. If you got a 5-bedroom house, you got 5 different people.
Got to clean up.
It's more of an active business
every day.
than standard rental.
Okay, so Jasmine Booker says, what are the requirements for renting? Oh, that was already that one. So Samantha McClendon says, did you finance all 16 of your rentals?
Yes and no. For the most part, yes. Okay. I'm an advocate of using other people's money.
Man.
Other people's money. Leverage that money. You don't. Even if you have $200,000, don't buy a $100,000 house cash. It just doesn't make sense. Rich people don't use their own money. They leverage other people's money. So the only time that I haven't financed, there may have been a multiple offer situation in which you've got a hot property, good price, and you've got 10 people, trying to put an offer on it. You may go in cash initially, buy the home just to be able to get it, make a sweet deal for the seller, have them accept your offer, and as soon as you buy that property cash, go to your lender and refinance it and get your money back so you can go and do more deals.
Somebody said, if you had a parent who served and passed, can you use their VA loan?
No.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. People keep asking that, so there may be something to it, but as far as I know, you can't.
I've never seen that happen. Okay, so Darnell Walker says, what market should we be looking for rentals?
Ideally, every market is a good market for rentals. You just have to find the right deal. You can find a good rental deal in an up market. You can find a good rental deal in a down market, but you can really mop up in a down market. In a down market, everybody's panicking. Property is cheap.
Yeah.
Buy rentals in a down market because eventually it's coming back up.
You know what's crazy? In the current climate that we live in, for my age group, I'm 34 years old. In my age group, and probably down to at least 25 or maybe 18, people do not. The masses. This is the first time that I've ever noticed that the masses do not want to own. They want to rent. They don't want to own. Like it's actually, for my generation, most people will say, I want to stay flexible. I want to be able to move around.
It used to be the American dream to own a home, but now it's really not.
It's like I don't, like, I'm a millennial. So my age group from, I think, 82, 84, something like that, is the millennial generation up to 2000 or 90 something. I don't know. But we're millennials. The mindset of my generation is not to purchase. It is to rent forever, like to rent and be able to move around and be able to go to different cities. It is you know how much money you lose renting? Like every month you're putting $1,000 into wherever you paying. The average 1-bedroom in Atlanta right now, well, it was when I bought this house, was $1,380. And I said, I refuse to pay $1,380 for a 1-bedroom in Atlanta, anywhere, really anywhere, not even just Atlanta, anywhere. And that is like almost everybody I knew who was around my age was renting. Like nobody was really into like buying a place. They were just renting. And I just could not, I still don't all the way know what's happening. So if you see what I see, this generation, this younger generation, they're gonna rent even more. They're gonna buy even less. So with that coming, if you own rental property, they're more willing to rent from you than to pay a mortgage. People will lose a place. They'll lose a house to taxes. Like their grandparents paid it all the way off. They'll lose that house to taxes and then go pay their rent every month. Never miss a beat. And they'll pay more rent than the taxes were. Taxes might have been $300-400 a month. They'll pay $1,200-1,300 a month to rent. It is the craziest thing. I don't know. I thought that was odd.
And I think real estate is one of the easiest ways to build generational wealth and to get rich without almost not even trying. It's a slow way to do it for rentals, but you can still do it. I just say, for example,
I see you.
This is a chart right here.
Lane.
If you buy a house that's worth $100,000, but you pay $95,000 for it, the value is $100,000. Your mortgage is $95,000. So you have the difference in here. Your equity is $5,000. You could not have a penny. You could have not a penny in the bank, but you're worth $5,000. Of course, this chart isn't mathematically correct, but over time, if you're renting the property, you're not spending anything. You're making money. So this is happening without you doing anything.
Mighty Jones,
Your mortgage balance is going to start at 95 and over the years go down to eventually nothing.
Right.
Your value,
gonna keep going. Hopefully, gonna keep going.
Over time,
if you buy right,
you may have, and it may dip. There may be times where this graph goes like this, but ultimately over time it still goes back up. At some point it's going to be here, and your equity is this. All this time while you were sitting there not doing anything, living your life, running another business, working a full-time job, you've got this much equity. Right. And if you've got equity, just say this equity is $100,000, and you've got 10 properties, you are a bona fide millionaire, and you didn't really do much to do it.
Okay, so I bought this house, I think it's been 2 years now. 2 years? I think I bought this house 2 years ago. Right now, the last time I looked, this house had went up $91,000 in equity. On top of the fact that I've been paying it down every month. So my value is over $100,000, you know, in equity in this house. Now, if I had rented and paid more in rent than what my mortgage is less than what I would have been paying rent for if I had a 3-bedroom apartment. So if I had been paying rent, I would have had no equity whatsoever, and that money would have just been thrown in the hole. At least I'm saving something by just owning. And
if you want to go do something else, you've got $100,000.
Yeah, I can go pull it out if I want.
You can go buy a truck.
Oh yeah,
see,
absolutely.
That's one of the things that
absolutely.
People ask about. What's the best, flipping or renting? I say, why do you have to choose? Why not do both? I feel like when I flip a house, you get a large lump sum of money, but what are you going to do with it? If you make $50,000 off a flip, sitting in the bank 6 months from now, that $50,000 is going to be worth less than truly than it was worth when you put it in there. So what are you going to do with that money?
Okay,
buy a truck, buy a rental property, turn it over into another flip. Make that money do something.
Because it's a little slow for me. But yes, put your money somewhere that's going to make you some money. Like, I don't care what it is. If you could start a business, whatever it is, like, do something with it. Don't just let it sit. 63 Impala says, any tips on getting around capital gains tax as an investor flipper?
Well, getting around it, you would have to, well, one of the ways is go slow. If it's your first flip, capital gains tax drops down after 12 months. So if you buy a home and you sell it in 6 months, you're gonna pay probably 30%, whatever your income tax bracket is.
They want it.
That you have to be careful. So if you make $50,000 on the flip and you flip it in 4 months, you owe Uncle Sam about $15,000. So make sure you put that money to the side and you have it ready for when he's coming. That's people wonder why you have athletes and entertainers, people that look rich, end up getting things repossessed from the IRS because they make a lot of money, but they're not smart with the taxes.
Like 50% on it.
But if you hold it for more than a year, your capital gains tax goes down to 10 or 15%.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
But make sure you keep records of all your stuff too. Yeah. And also the 1031 exchange. I haven't done one yet, but I almost did one on a property, but I decided I didn't want to.
Roll it into another property?
Yeah, you roll that into another property. To oversimplify it, if you make $50,000 off of a flip, you send that $50,000 to what they call is an intermediary. They hold that $50,000, but you have to reinvest that $50,000 into a like property. If you do that, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax as long as you keep that property. You can sell those other properties again, and you can still keep rolling it over into a 1031 exchange. Your accountant should be able to tell you a little bit more detail about that, but that's definitely one way to do it.
So DJ Cadillac said, how did you find a builder willing to do new construction with a VA loan? Well, I used, my builder was D.R. Horton, which is really the biggest builder in the United States. They built, I think, 60% or something like that of all the homes in Georgia. So I just went to the property office. Me and my brother built the house the same month. We both closed the same month. We both built houses the same month. So we both used our VA loan. My brother's Army, I'm Air Force. So we both just went down there. They were well versed with how to handle a VA loan. And because I was already approved, I just went in and said, hey, this is the house I want. It, you know, sticks out here. And then I told them what kind of stuff I wanted in it. They made it work. I didn't have a problem with building a house from the ground up with my VA loan, so I'm not really sure. Mine is D.R. Horton too. Who said that? Let me see. Okay, Prep, I see you. Prep, hey, that's my boy there, man. Prep, so Prep can tell you I was a wild boy back in the day. That's a wild guy. All right, so Samuel McClendon says, do you go hard money or personal loan when getting the funding?
I use hard money. I use Lima One Capital.
True.
Dominion Financial out of Baltimore. I've used them before. Like Lima One's definitely a reputable company. I use straight line funding on this duplex that I just bought. It's not a hard money loan, but they do hard money as well. So I can vouch for those 3 companies.
Yo, we have 96 people watching right now. Could you imagine if we had 96 people in one room?
We can do it.
That's what we want to do. We're going to try to do that. Hopefully we shoot for March. We're going to try and do a meet and greet with everybody. Just try and get whoever we can get to come in, talk to some millionaires, talk to some 100,000aires, talk to some real estate investors, talk to some flippers. Are you looking to buy anything anytime soon?
I'm looking for a flip now. I mean,
because I think that's what you.
I'm looking.
So, hey, matter of fact, if y'all know of any properties in the Atlanta area or something like that, and you want to just run them by my guy right here, his email address will be in the description. And
that's homesbyharold@gmail.com. Instagram, same thing, at homesbyharold. Let me find this property.
So he's looking for this property. Let me see. If y'all enjoying this content, because, I'm only doing this for y'all. Y'all like my extended family. We family at this point. So if y'all like this, then drop a thumbs up in there if you can. If you know how to use the little emoji thing, because not everybody is savvy with these devices. But if you know how to do the emoji thumbs up, drop that thumbs up for me. Okay. So Darnell is my people. Okay, y'all having a whole conversation. Miss Jones and Darnell, thumbs up. Hey, I like how she did it. She just typed it. All right, that what's up. Congratulations on sharing. Okay. Hey man, I appreciate y'all. I seen you on Erica's live chat and started following you. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Somebody saw me on Miss Erica Williams' show. Her show is called The Classic Climb. It's a great show. Yesterday I did JT Hustle's show. He's like the king of courier service. I did it on his channel. And next week I have a show coming up with O'Shea Jackson. And so I think that's how you say it. But anyway, I'll post y'all the info. But he has a much bigger channel than myself. And so, everybody just helping out, man. I appreciate everybody liking the content. And we're going to keep rolling. They dropping those thumbs. All right, so, Kelley Parker. What up, Kelley? He over there quiet, man. Kelley, what up, man? Okay.
I didn't find this one.
You didn't find it?
Yeah, I found the after, but it was a flip that I recently
did.
Man,
you and Kelley need to work together and do something, man.
We've already talked about it.
You saw the videos, though, right?
Definitely.
Yo, they got some serious stuff going on, man. That was just like a snippet of what kind of flips they got going on. And I'm referring to the videos that I dropped day before yesterday? I don't even know. I dropped day before yesterday. Yeah. So I dropped some videos with Kelley Parker day before yesterday where we walked through like 4 flips. But they got way more than that. I think one guy said he had like around 13 going. So we're definitely trying to, put some things together, man. Okay. Kelley said he's just paying student right now. All right.
I saw something that said.
All right. So somebody drop me a question. I'm gonna try and drop me a question. We're gonna try and answer something right now. Well, I'm gonna have him answer it. Samuel said, Kelley, he's been trying to hit you up. Okay. DJ Cadillac said, what about getting a loan for houses under $50,000? That would be hard.
Yeah, it may be rough. A lot of, even some hard money, when you look at their websites, they have a minimum loan amount. And a lot of times 50,000 is the minimum. Some of them is 75. You may be able to find one. I'm not sure if Lima One does
because I know 50,000 was definitely the VA loan, I believe, and also the FHA loan minimum. That's the minimum.
Because when you think banks make their money off of interest. So $50,000 over time, they may not make as much money off of it. So you may be able to find a local bank, a community bank that may be able to do one less than $50,000. Oh, I wonder where they're buying homes at less than $50,000. I want to go there and see if I can buy some.
It's probably not Atlanta. It's not Atlanta, you know. Because in Macon, you can get houses $20,000, $30,000. But
Are you using Navy Federal?
OPM, Navy Federal.
Navy Federal, I haven't got a loan through Navy Federal yet. Let me see. Navy Federal's got a business program now that they do lines of credit. I am looking on getting with that, but I haven't got a mortgage with them just yet.
So let me tell you about Navy Federal. I don't know who asked that question, but you might be military, I guess, because you have to be military to get a loan from Navy Federal. You have to at least get an account with Navy Federal. You have to be in the military. So I don't know if we got a lot of military people on here, but I am curious to know. I don't know where everybody is from. I see you guys have dropped your, drop your cities. But what is the price per square foot where you are currently? Because that is kind of important to know. That'll kind of let you know like what you can get for the house by knowing the zip code and price per square foot where you are.
Somebody asked, did we recommend banks or credit unions?
Oh, was that?
Well, credit unions typically have lower fees, and a lot of times they may work with, get better terms. So a lot of times they are.
And Prep said Navy Federal is now open to civilians. I just walked into the one up the street. Yeah. And they told me they were not. They said you had to have a military affiliation, whether or not you had to be related to somebody in the military, like a parent or something like that, or you had to be in the military or live in a house with a military person or something like that. So I just went in there, what was that, 3 days ago, 4 days ago? Yeah, I went in there 3 or 4 days ago, and that's what they told me here. So I don't know. They wouldn't even let me. I mean, I could have opened an account because I was military, but they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry." They were talking to me as though they didn't think I was military. They was like, "Yeah, you got to be military to open an account here, or have somebody from the military open it for you, or something like that." I was like, "No, I mean I'm military, so I'm good." But I didn't know y'all were like USAA pretty much. But yeah, credit unions are all about relationships, very easy to work with. That's what I've been hearing. I got to build me a relationship with a credit union. That's why I went into Navy Federal, because I was like, I'm gonna start me a relationship with these guys.
And not only credit unions, these small local banks, your Bank of America and your Wells Fargo, they're big box companies, and they're a lot of times very restrictive. Yeah. That person in that big office can't really make a decision because they work for big Navy, Wells Fargo or Bank of America. Yeah. Go to some of your community banks, the ones you only see in a certain area. You only see them in your city, or there may only be 3 in your city or a couple in your state. Those people, you can build a relationship with them and maybe actually talk to the bank president or one of the big people there and actually put your money there, build a relationship with them, and then you can get better loans from them.
So are you a real estate agent? Are you a full-time real estate agent? Or you
I work full-time. I'm an engineer. I work for the government. I got my real estate license pretty much to aid me with my real estate investing. Okay. And it kind of took off from there. I have a few clients that I use that use me to buy and sell their own properties. I use it to negotiate when I'm buying my flips. So that's another challenge. I don't know if anybody on here is full time and they're looking and getting into real estate and they work full time. I'm proof that you can do it. You can accumulate a portfolio and work more than 40 hours a week. But the key is automation and using other people you can depend on.
Somebody said New York is $2,000 a square foot.
I believe.
God! Now, Nashville was interesting. Somebody said $220 to $230 a square foot in Nashville. That's comparable to Atlanta. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me see. I saw a question come in. Well, somebody said that they got referred by somebody else to join Navy Federal. So yes, if you're a military person or you're a federal civilian, like you work for the government, then yes, you can still open an account with Navy Federal. You have to have some kind of government affiliation. I meant, when I say civilian, I don't think about federal civilians. I mean regular people, like, regular civilians.
What type of engineer? My degree is in mechanical engineering.
And I'm an accountant, just so you know, I'm gonna just plug myself in here. I'm an accountant. I was avionics. I worked on navigation radar weapon systems on F-16s in the Air Force. Cross-trained and went medical administration. Worked in the hospital. I was the NCOIC of medical records for 2 different bases. One at Robbins Air Force Base and one in Wichita, Kansas at McConnell. And then I went back to school, got my accounting degree. I have an associate's degree as well in healthcare management, got my accounting degree, and then I got a job at the Department of Veteran Affairs, and I'm still a government employee, but I work somewhere else in real estate where that is. But yeah.
Right. Maybe we should do one on how do you run a business or invest in something as a full-time employee one time, because I think a lot of people are in that position. Yeah. I think mine just worked out great too as well. With I was a civil engineer co-officer in the Navy, even though my degree is in mechanical engineering. Okay. So we managed big construction projects on behalf of the government. So we dealt with contractors. We figured out how to negotiate, how to look and inspect property. So that experience really prepared me to buy my own properties.
Yeah. And I really, I'm from the hood. I started out, trying to get money in the hood, however, and that I learned business that way. Believe it or not, it's still business is still the same principles no matter what it is. It might just be different actions because you're in different markets, but you're really just trying to make money on your money or whatever, or even somebody else's money. So business is business to me. I never felt any kind of way about going into any kind of business. Like I have a trucking business, and I never felt that trucking was going to be something I couldn't do or that I was going to be overwhelmed by, because I just still thought that it's the same principles, even though all the moving parts are different, but it's the same principles. You're trying to make money, and you're trying to cut back on costs. You're trying to make money on money. Like you put in a couple dollars and you're trying to get more money. And it's simple business. Being a full-time employee, it is difficult. But like I said in a previous video, I had the opportunity to ask the legendary Jay Prince a question, and the question was, with all the things that he's done in his life, from owning a cattle ranch to being Floyd Mayweather's manager at one point, to owning Rap-A-Lot Records, to being the founder of some of the greatest rap music in our history, and even his son founding, was the person who discovered Drake. Like, having done all of those things and having a cattle farm and writing books, where did he find the time to make it to church every Sunday, to be at all his kids' games? Where did he find the time to do all of those things and amass 900 million or so? Like, where did he find time with all of those different businesses? And he said, I have the same amount of hours in a day as everybody else. So, so grind, like that's it. And I come from that mindset where I'm a grind. I don't gotta, we can sleep later, but you still want to take care of yourself. But, just the motivation, just be motivation to me carries me through everything, because every day is a blessing, and every day I get to live out my childhood, because I always wanted to be a businessman. That's why I like wearing this. Some people don't want to wear this. I like wearing this because this is what I wanted to do as a kid, and I get to be a real business person, not somebody who just say, oh, I'm a boss. I actually have employee. I have to pay payroll. I have to do those things. So I'm really living in a fantasy, really. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. Somebody said, do you think Macon, Georgia is a good place to begin buying? Is that question for me or you?
Well, you have experience in Macon, right?
That question may be a question for me.
Yeah, I went to Macon looking at apartment complexes one time, and the rent rates are so low. They got some hoods around there that rival some in Atlanta, and I opted not to buy, but I think he has some experience with Macon.
Macon, Georgia is, it is a strong rental place. People there do rent. I wouldn't try to flip houses in Macon. It's not like a place where people are spending $300,000-400,000 on an older house. Like here in Atlanta, you can get people in the city to buy houses for $300,000 or $400,000 that were built in the 60s and 50s and 40s if you remodel them. In Macon, brand new houses might be going for like 150, 200. That might be bigger than the house that you were like. It's not, and then they may not even be able to sell those fast. You know, it's not those houses there. Most of them are probably selling somewhere around 80, 90, 100, something like that, and that's because it's like it's nothing like Atlanta. I can't even explain it. My house was 2,100 square feet. How much is that house that you're about to flip? Or that you're about to close on? What?
It's 900 square feet on each side. It's pretty small, but it's got a carport, so it's 1,800 square feet total.
We're talking about 1,800 square feet. And how much is
97,000.
97,000. So 900 square feet. So have you ever sold any houses or seen a house sale in Atlanta for like 300,000?
Oh yeah.
And what size is that house, square foot wise?
The one I had was about 2,400. That was the one I just recently
2,400 square feet. I bought a house in a comparable size, 300 square foot less, for 54,000 in Macon. So it is good.
It's this house.
Oh yeah.
294.
Yeah. So it's good for if you're gonna buy a house like that and rent it out. And then the house next door, I think it sold for like 40,000, about the same size. We wanted to get that one too, but we couldn't get in contact with the people who owned it to even like find out what they wanted for it. It stayed vacant almost the entire time that I lived at that address, and it eventually sold for like 30 or 40,000, and it's about the same size. And to think that somebody's trying to buy, you know, that you're trying to sell a $300,000 house for, you know, with like 2,400 square feet in Macon is not like it is here. I put it like that. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's not like it is here.
Someone had a good question. They asked, do we buy in war zones in Atlanta? That's a good question. I bought in areas that are considered war zones or former war zones or war zones that are transitioning. If you Google the Atlanta Beltline, or people that are in Atlanta, they probably know about the Atlanta Beltline. If you look at the city of Atlanta, it is going to make an oval with bike trails, skate parks, jogging trails, and they haven't completed it yet. But some of those war zone neighborhoods, the Beltline is coming or is come right through. So you got houses that are burnt out, boarded up, that you think are in a war zone, but people are spending a lot of money for those homes.
Kelley says, hell yeah, we buy war zones
all the time.
Daily.
I've got a property off of Joseph V. Boone. I've got the one for 300. It's off of Donald Lee Hollowell, some of you may know of as Bankhead.
Yeah.
So a lot of these neighborhoods that were traditionally war zones are really transitioning now in Atlanta.
And you got to understand, Atlanta has a different level of buyer than maybe some other cities. We have Google here, you know, like we have Delta, we have huge corporations. Coca-Cola is from this, you know, from this city. So like we have companies who got billions and billions and billions of dollars. So they have employees that they pay rather well. So these people just want to be, they want to be able to just use either Uber or something like that. They might want to use a train. So they're willing to pay $300,000-$400,000 for a couple hundred square feet because they just want to be in the city. By the way, we're over 100 people on this live, man. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? If y'all like what y'all hearing and y'all want to donate to this channel, you can go ahead and drop that super chat. I ain't gonna stop you from doing it, you know. But anyway, let's see. What else can we? Oh, did I answer the other question? Oh, was that the war zones? Was that the last question? Was that the other question? Okay, should put it back on. All right. So somebody asked about Covington, Georgia. I got a few people out that way. Okay, hold on.
I used to live in Conyers. Covington's okay. It's not as hot of a market as Atlanta for flipping, but rental, I think it could be solid. There are people that live in Covington that don't go past Conyers. So there's a lot of people that live in that area that love it. And the city's steady growing out there. So I think Covington's a solid rental market.
Now we got a serious question. How can we do this with bad credit? That's a question for you.
Pay cash.
Get somebody to invest.
That came up in the last one. I would say you could get somebody to invest, but really, you really need to get your credit straight. I mean, it doesn't have to be 700, but if you want to get in this, you can start looking at ways to get it with bad credit. But the first, start looking at improving your credit. Get a Credit Karma account. See if what you have on your credit.
Use my sister.
That's not on there.
Absolutely. My sister repairs credit. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, there are creative ways to do real estate. So I know a guy, and I'm sure you guys probably have done the same kind of thing, where they kind of like, I don't know if it's called wholesaling, but what he'll do is he'll find somebody who's trying to get out. He'll say, hey, give me a month to try to find, try to get the money for this. Let's put it under some kind of contract, and then he'll try to flip that property to somebody else and make a couple dollars on that. And then he can take that money and pay off his credit card in order to improve his credit or something like that.
They're out there hustling, building relationships, having a conversation.
Yeah.
And there are people that gather their down payment money through wholesaling.
Yeah, I know a guy.
But if you ever need to leverage, you're gonna need a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I know a guy who has done, all he does is real estate, like wholesaling, flipping houses, like long-term rentals, but he does a lot of creative types of real estate. And he ended up calling me one day because he didn't even really understand how I was able to buy a house with 2 VA loans. And he does this kind of thing for a living, so he had people who were looking to buy a second home with their VA, but they had a VA loan on the other home, so they were trying to sell a home and get out of the home while trying to buy another home. So they were kind of stuck because they were like, well, we got to live somewhere. We're trying to sell this house. So when he found out that you can do that by talking to me, he called me with them on the phone and was like, yo, tell me how we can do this. And I was like, oh, it's really easy. But this guy really is out there just making something happen. He doesn't know all the rules. He doesn't know all of the clever ways that you can do stuff, but he's trying, and that's really all you got to do. Make some calls, man. Get out there. Talk to some guys like this who actually do this, who know this stuff. And, I mean, even if you don't have good credit, maybe you find the deals. Maybe that's how you get compensated, because there's finder's fees and things like that. So just get out there and start working. You know what I mean?
Somebody asked, what do we think about lease with option to buy? I'm wondering, can you send that question again? Are you saying from the buyer's perspective or from the investor's perspective?
What do you guys think about lease option to buy? And I'm thinking that's from the investors.
From the investor's perspective, is great. Lease with option to buy, you get a down payment from them. And let's see.
Somebody said they're watching in Anchorage, Alaska, man. What's up, man? I've been out there.
She says she wants to buy. From the investor's perspective, it's good. From the buyer's not. I forgot what the number is, but I think the number is, I think they say 20% or less of lease options actually go through to sale. So you've given somebody a down payment, a lot of times non-refundable, give me time to get my credit repaired, and it never happens. And you've given that person a down payment, and you lost it. So from an investor's perspective, it's a pretty good deal because you got a non-refundable down payment, and that person has to be prepared to buy that home in a certain time period. But from a buyer's perspective, I wouldn't recommend you do it. I recommend you get prepared to buy a home and buy it when you're ready and not do a lease with option to buy.
Yo, we got 101 people watching right now, and we got a guy named Marquise watching all the way from Afghanistan. So if y'all can do me a favor, let Marquise know we appreciate his service and whatever he doing over there, because I don't really know what it is. I don't know if he's military or contractor, but could y'all please just drop that M on here? Just drop an M on here to let him know we appreciate whatever he doing over there. We ain't trying to get in your secret clearance or none of that information, but we support, man. We appreciate you. Yeah, man, drop them M's on there, man. Support that guy. Our tax liens are good.
Yes. I've got a friend that does, Keisha Nicole does tax sales. She's got a tax course. But tax sales are great, but you really need to know what you're doing. Make sure that you do your due diligence. You can buy a tax lien from somebody who owes money. The worst thing can happen is they'll pay you 20% interest on top of what you spent. Best case scenario, you own the home in a year. So tax liens are good. Just make sure you do your due diligence on it.
Royal Core said, I love you, Casino. I love you too. Don't know who you are right now, but you're on my radar now. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Hey, appreciate that, Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones said, Casino you're the best. I appreciate it. Man, we just here, man. We here for the people, man. And that man over there in Afghanistan, look.
A lot of M's.
I think she went to Afghanistan. I know she was in Kuwait. Nisha, are you on here? Can you drop what you had, man? Because Princess, you done been where? Afghanistan. Look, yo, I got pictures of her when she was getting off them planes with the guns and the glasses and all that. Woo, boy, it's rough over there. Reginald said, so if I had to fund my first property with cash, how much would I have to save to do that?
Depending on how much the property costs. But I wonder, why would you want to fund it? Why would you want to fund it with cash though? What, is that a credit issue or? I mean, I would say 50,000 honestly is the minimum. I mean, because you can't buy a turnkey property for 50,000. Typically, you're gonna need some rehab.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you have cash,
yeah,
the most you would probably have to put down is 20 to 30% of the property, because they'll get if you got 1/5 of whatever that is, they'll.
Oh, so he's saying. I thought he was saying he wants to buy the property.
You want to buy the property all cash, even with bad credit. You should be able to do something. If you say you should be able to get 100,000 if you have $20,000. They'll probably give you that if you actually got that in cash. So, you know, you don't have to have the greatest credit. You know, you got to have something. You got to have a pulse. More than like if you got that much capital, then they'll. Yeah. You can even just join on with somebody like this guy and go through his credit if you guys partner up. So even if you just, you know, have that capital, then you can go through people who have
especially with hard money lenders. Hard money lenders are really about relationships.
Absolutely.
If you've done several hard money loans with a company and you've paid that loan off, you flipped the property and paid that loan off, they get to the point, I've got a hard money lender, they don't even come and look at my deals anymore. They look at them on the computer, send me the commitment. So
yeah. Also, my sister said she did 15 months down there in Afghanistan, downrange somewhere. And by the way, she's a lawyer. She does credit repair. She's barred here in the state of Georgia. She's also the first lady of Andrews, South Carolina, meaning that her husband is the mayor. So she is American royalty. I'm not. Okay, we got some questions coming in. All right. This. What's her email? Nisha, if you could, drop the contact info so that they can reach out to you on here. Okay, Reginald, I'm in St. Louis too. Son of NOK said, I just need to straighten out my credit. Yeah, you know, like I said, my sister does credit repair. She can get you right. There are very few things that she cannot get off your credit. I do not do credit repair. I just kept my credit good. Yeah, I pay stuff on time, you know. But sometimes you can start off wrong. Maybe your parents had the light bill in your name when you was 9 and you didn't know it, and then it was $25 and they never paid that bill, and when you get ready to go get your first car at 18, 19.
21% interest.
Yeah. Oh, she did 15 months in Iraq. So, yes, she did 15 months in Iraq. Actually, so she was staying on a trailer there in Iraq because she was an officer, but one of the trailers that she was in got hit with a shrapnel or something like that while she was at work. Luckily, she was actually at work and not like skipping out of work because she could have been involved in that.
Someone asked for my social media. Yes, it's at Homes by Harold, HOMESBYHAROLD. Email's the same, homesbyharold@gmail.com.
Yeah. So I have to update all that information at the bottom and make sure. Okay, say okay, send me a message. Okay, bet. Yeah, man, I love to see all of you guys are working together, talking. That's what this is about, man. This is positive energy, man. Man, we appreciate it, Chris Bell. Any books you recommend? Any books
let me see. The Millionaire Mind. I mean, if you're doing real estate, you got to go to the classic of Rich Dad Poor Dad first. Get that one out of the way.
Got to.
Yeah,
got to.
Robert Kiyosaki going into that. He has a cash flow quadrants one. Yeah. Let me see if I got my Kindle up here. I can remember some of these, but those are the ones you should definitely start out with. Rich Dad Poor Dad for sure.
Yeah. So also, my sister said that she was the chief of legal services and foreign claims for multinational division Baghdad. Just since I guess I started putting her stuff out there, she was like, "Make sure you get it right." So tell him where you recommend our book dropping next month. So also, we are coming out with a book next month. It is called Big Shot, Hot Shot. It's going to teach you about how to get started in hot shot trucking. And it is going to be dropping more than likely somewhere around Valentine's Day. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be my first official business book. And, you know, it's really just here to help you guys. So can a person with a 700 credit score, hold on, wait a minute. Let me read that again.
Yeah.
With little credit, real estate.
Absolutely.
Okay. She said she got a 700 credit score, but she doesn't have any real estate credit. Like she hasn't built up the real estate part of her credit.
Right. So if you're not looking to get hard money, you don't really need experience. So you can get a traditional loan. Yeah, with 700, you're good to go. And if you want to do a rehab loan, if you want to go hard money, 700 is such a good credit score. They may still partner with you if you partner with a good contractor or a mentor that can say, okay, I'm vouching for this person. I'm going to manage this project for or with them. You can even do a rehab with that credit score.
Yeah. So Prep said, where will the book be available? It will definitely be available on Amazon. I know we're going to try to see if we can get it in a couple local areas around here in Atlanta. But we'll have some hard copies. So if you order one directly from us, I'll make sure we get it signed and sent out to you guys. But we definitely are going to do the meet and greet. And so that would be a good time to like make sure that, you know,
Ms. Jones reminded
everybody
us
gets their book.
She can partner with Kelley. Ms. Jones reminded us Kelley will partner with you to get your hard money loan. If you don't have experience, he mentioned in a previous video, he'll partner with you to get your loan.
Crystal on here, she said, we have an amazing channel. I appreciate that. We out here working. Let me see. Okay. Holding strong at 103. Yes. So we got all the way up to 109 viewers at one point. I'm sure that they didn't like leave because they wanted to leave this video. They probably left because their kids was like doing something bad. All right. So, okay, we got some more questions. Are hard money loans good for rentals because of the points? And that was asked by Samuel McClendon.
I think yes, because
oh, absolutely.
To me, you need value add to really get a good deal. I very rarely buy turnkey properties. The one I'm buying next week is turnkey. I like to buy a property that I need to rehab. So you can find a property, buy it with hard money loan, and instead of flipping it and selling it, then once it's renovated, Lima One Capital does both. Lima One Capital will give you the hard money loan and they'll give you the rental property loan. It's called the Rental 30 program. So if you Google them, you go to the website and they have it on there. So yes, get a hard money loan, fix up the rental property, put a 30-year mortgage on it and rent it out.
Okay, so I have a question about how easy it is. Ms. Jones, I believe, asked that question. Yes. Ms. Love Jones says, Casino, how easy is it to do hot shot trucking when you already have your own authority? We're thinking about it. So once you have your own authority, it is relatively easy to start getting loads, and that's whether or not it's hot shot trucking or semi trucks. Once you have your own authority, it's relatively easy to get loads. The thing is, you have a seasoning time if you just got your own authority. Like if you already have an authority, then you're good. But when you just start an authority, then most of the big brokers want you to have at least 3 months experience or activity on your account or on your authority before they start letting you get the good loads. So you might be stuck doing like, oh, $14.99. I see you, Crystal. Casino fan. Okay, now what's up? Appreciate that. You ain't any other, you know. But so like you can start running, but you won't get the real good stuff until you get seasoned, right? Like I'm just now getting to where we have a load booked on Monday for $5 a mile, which is crazy. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, that's crazy. You know, you get $5 a mile. That's crazy. All right, I can't even really explain it, but we get $5 a mile on this load on Monday. But it's just because we're just now getting close to that 3-month threshold. I haven't even been in business 3 months. So very close. And so you definitely have some seasoning time, but if you already have your own authority, then, you know, you really good. You can get booked. Okay. The next question is from Carlos Batista. He says, would you consider leaving your full-time job to be full-time investors? What do you think about investing in notes?
I want to make so much money where I want to force myself to leave. So I want to make it a hard decision to stay at my job. But the challenge probably with myself and maybe as well for you is we're prior military. Right. We both work for the federal government. So that time is rolled over.
Yes.
So we're looking at being this close to retirement. We can probably make a lot more money if we dedicated it full-time to entrepreneurship. So that's something that I think about often. I would consider it, but I would need to get my calculator out. That's something I have to pray about.
Okay. Who did that? Somebody just dropped 24 on there? 24 on there.
Honest John.
Honest John, man. Man, y'all are making this channel. You know, this is beautiful. I'm having a come to Jesus moment. All right. So I appreciate all y'all support, man, because we're actually planning on renting a hotel or trying to figure out something like a conference room to do the meet and greet. So all of this support really helps us out to try to do bigger and better things from you guys. It's your boy TK from Tallahassee, man. What's happening, man? Boy, look, don't tell nobody about me from Tallahassee, all right? You know? Hey, man, they don't know nothing about the North Side, French Town. So, yes, man, I appreciate all you guys, man, coming through, man. This is a beautiful thing, man. Anyway, we'll get back to what we were talking about. It's great. We had 112 people. We got 73 likes. Wait, we had 112 people watching right now. We only got 74 likes. It just went up one. So why we ain't got more likes? Are you guys not liking this?
We should have 112, right?
We should have at least 112. 75, okay, it's going up. Okay, I'm an owner. Okay, it's just going too fast. I couldn't see it. All right, I'm an operator. I'm trying to figure time into housekeeping game. You know what? So just like, okay, so all you truck drivers who may be watching this, you know it's a lot of things that you got to know to get into trucking. Like you, as far as being a driver, you got to go to school. You got to know how to do inspections. You know the DOT can shut you down if you don't do this, if you don't do that. So it's all of these things that you got to know. House flipping is the same way. You know, I was sitting around Jetty or Kelley Parker and the other guys that, you know, do this every day, and they were talking about the load supporting beams in the houses, and they like I don't know nothing about that, you know. But if you ask me anything about IFTA, I got you, you know, because I took the time to learn that. And so you just have to take the time to learn all of these things. And the best thing to do, in my opinion, would be, say if I'm a trucker or in the trucking business and I wanted to try to do a flip, I would just partner with somebody who can show me, you know, what I needed to do or the kind of things that I need to look at. We at 87 likes, it's going up. Thank you.
And that's good thinking, because I'm the same thing. I flip, I do rentals, but I'm looking to get into trucking. Same thing.
Right.
Partner with someone you trust that knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Gain knowledge from them and make it happen. So
he's a real estate guy, flipper, you know, landlord. He knows all these 103Ks. He knows all this stuff, right? But in the trucking business, I would run circles around him. But in the real estate game, you know, he got me cold. They got me cold. They all got me cold. They be talking, and I just be like I feel like they speaking Spanish, and I don't know Spanish. And
so the best way to combat that, team up.
Team up. Yeah.
We talked. Well, somebody explained about the mutual fund.
Right.
Make yourself a mutual fund. You don't. It doesn't have to be either or. It's and. Try to do more than one thing. I mean, LeBron James is unstoppable because he got a jumper, he can drive to the hole, and he can play defense. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. You don't want to be Blake Griffin. And no disrespect to Blake Griffin, but a big man can guard Blake Griffin because he only got one move.
Right. And also, you know, you want to be with professionals, right? Like LeBron James, using the LeBron James analogy, LeBron James plays basketball every day. Hours and hours of practice, working out, training his body. This is what he do for a living. He makes his money by doing that. So people who actually make a living or make money by doing that every day. This is what they do versus me, who doesn't do that. I can't imagine that I would beat LeBron James in basketball. But the difference is I do trucking professionally, commercially. This is what we do every day, right? So I can run circles around LeBron James if we was sitting here talking about RRP accounts or something like that. You know what I'm saying? If we was talking about, how to get, what a UCR is and a BOC3 is, he 9 times out of 10 he doesn't know that. He doesn't know how to negotiate loads with brokers and dispatchers and things like that. He probably doesn't know the things that I know. And so, but that's because that's not what he do. So I would partner with somebody like this guy who knows what he's doing. The trust and and also I missed that question because somebody else kind of brought it up again. Rome, I was told you could start a trust and take your home in a trust, rent it from the trust, free up personal credit. So he was saying
I think I've heard you can start a trust and take and buy your home in the trust name and rent it to free up your personal credit. I do think you can do that. I've never done that personally, but I think you can do that.
I don't know. I would still think that. How does a trust go on the loan?
Well,
I don't know.
You can deed it, but
y'all dropping that money.
The mortgage company would have to agree to that.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to
buy the stack for
it. This is crazy. I appreciate all y'all put some money in here. This is gonna go a long way. I appreciate y'all, man. Kimberly Williams, salute to you. But so with the trust thing, I don't know anything about that. That is a great question. I hope that somebody maybe even on here can answer that question. I don't know. So the question is, if you have a trust, can you rent it out through the trust and free up your personal credit? Because I was thinking, well, how did you get the house? Like, how did you get the loan for the house? Because you can't just...
Well, actually, with the trust kind of threw me off. If you replace that with LLC, so I would say yes. If you're trying to free up your personal credit, yes, you absolutely can. What I started doing is dumping all the properties that I bought early in my real estate investing that I bought in my own name.
Okay.
I want to free up my own credit. So basically what I'll do is I sold all those properties, and everything that I buy from now on, I'm buying in the name of my LLC. Now, I am the personal guarantor. For them to give me the loan in my LLC name, they will have to run my credit. But once they run my credit, they give me the loan in the name of my business, and that mortgage does not show up on my credit when anybody pulls it.
Somebody just asked, what did I tell y'all about? I told y'all this. Right. When we was on the phone, they say, is Jay Morrison a fraud? Oh, I just said that people. So I've had that question or statement. I've heard that statement several times. A couple of people said, I don't want to say what they said. Now, I don't really know anything. I mean, I know his story. I don't know if he's a fraud or not. Like, I don't think he's a fraud. I don't know. He's tied to a lot of celebrities, but I mean, that may not, I don't know. I didn't really look into his stuff. I know I'm not. Hopefully he's not. And if he was, I would think that maybe by now he would have been caught if he was. I don't think that he is. I don't, hold on, somebody just said something else funny. Said, isn't it fraud? He's just a really good salesman. He's definitely a good salesman. He's definitely a good salesman. I don't know anything. I would love to meet with Jay Morrison one day. Maybe we should try to get that on the calendar. He is in Atlanta, so I definitely love to meet with him. It wasn't ever something that I even looked into. I definitely like his motivation, you know what I'm saying? And a guy kind of with, the street background, I could dig it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about because he kind of basically got his own hedge fund, where he's got investors to...
Section 8ers. They asked it again. I wrote that person asked it again. I guess you want to know.
Section 8
or straight rent. That's a good question, and I think that's a misconception too. When I first started real estate, I heard, "Don't rent to Section 8. They're gonna tear up your house. Don't do it. Don't do it." I love Section 8. I wish all of my tenants were Section 8. Section 8 goes both ways. As a landlord, you have to make sure you have certain safety things in the home. They're gonna come and inspect it. But these people are getting free money from the government. They have a responsibility too. So you come by, look at your property, and they're tearing it up. You contact that case manager and say, hey, this person is tearing up my property. That case manager will contact them. They'll have to rectify that, or they'll get a warning, or they're in jeopardy of losing that Section 8 voucher. So if you're a landlord, if you know what you're doing, you can use the Section 8 system to make sure these people don't tear up your property, and you'll get rent for a long time. One of my properties, I've got a Section 8 tenant that's been in there 5 years. Every month on the 1st, it's direct deposit. On holidays, it's on the 30th, 31st of the previous month. So I love Section 8.
Yeah, the guy who helped me buy my first house actually had a bunch of Section 8 rentals, and he loved Section 8. And he even was like, even if they don't, because of what his mortgage was or what he owed on the house or whatever his monthly payment was still much less than what the government was paying him. Say if he had the house for like $400 a month and the government was paying him $700-800 a month, he didn't even care if they didn't pay the other part, that percentage that they were supposed to pay. Hold on, let me see. Okay, there's a lot of questions. Okay, Stacy Banks said, would you recommend partnering with Uber Haul for loads? I don't. It's still a new service, so Uber Haul is. I don't know a lot about it. I do know that some guys said that the loads were pretty decent. I would not hate with partnering with anybody if I can make money. Honestly, like that's basically my answer. Like if it's a money, and I'm with it. I don't know what the money's like in that. ND says, what do you think about semi versus hotshot trucking? And I like both. I like both. I originally started with hotshot trucking because I can get into it without having to put money down. And at the time, I still thought semis made more money, but somebody told me that the money was actually better in hotshot trucking with the dually truck than it was with a semi truck. You get more loads because you can haul more things, so you're more versatile. But the guys who I know who were driving trucks, they were saying that the semi truck was making around $4,000 or something a week, and I knew guys who had hotshot trucks. If they ran six days straight, they could make like $10,000. And so a lot of guys were coming out of the semi trucks. Even right now, a lot of guys are getting out of the semi trucks and getting into the hotshot business. Now, I think that there's still a lot of money in the semi trucks, and it just depends on what you're hauling and what you're willing to do and where you're willing to go. But it just depends. There's no bed in a dually truck. You can put a $3,000 sleeper in there, but there's no bed in there. So I think that the semi truck is much more comfortable on the driver. You have much more flexibility as far as it's very easy to find loads if you have a semi truck. They call me all day because they see I have an authority and I can run any kind of truck. So they just know I have an authority. So they're like, hey, we're trying to get a 53-foot dry van, but I don't have that. I have a hot
partner with somebody with a semi and get all the money.
I love to do that. I love to do that. I'm about that life. So, Nia Lee says, are you guys experiencing buying real estate with business credit /loans?
I'm using business credit now. It's just that they still want a personal guarantee. Even if you're putting it in your business name, majority of the time, you're going to be a personal guarantee. You can still have some that are non-recourse. They call it non-recourse because if you foreclose, they don't come after you personally, but those are more rare. So most of them, the loan goes in the business name. It doesn't show up on my personal credit. It builds my business credit. But however, if I don't pay for that property and they have to foreclose, then they come after me. I'm still the personal guarantor. At that point, it would go on my credit, but up until then, it's not.
Okay. This says, I think DMO says, what is a good way to hire a driver? You need to vet your drivers, okay? I've heard some horror stories. Checking their background. You're gonna put a MVR just to get them on your insurance, their motor vehicle report. You got to pull that. But for me, I want to know more about the driver. I want to know what the living situation is like. I want to know what their family situation is like. I do not like dealing with desperate people. Desperate people in any form of business do desperate things. They do some of the craziest things, okay? I've heard stories here in the last week of things that owners have had to do in relation to some of the new drivers that they thought that they knew something about, but you know, you got to do more research on them. I do not like desperate people. If people are rushing me, hey, you gotta hurry up and do this, you gotta hurry up. I do not like that. I don't want to deal with anybody who's already broke. I mean, it's just my personal opinion.
That's a good point. I learned that the hard way. When I was renting properties, you want to hurry up and rent that property out. So when someone comes to you, how soon do you want to move? Oh, we can move this weekend. Oh, yeah, you want to hurry up and get that deposit.
Who can move this weekend?
But why are you moving so fast?
Yeah.
You know, are you getting kicked out? What's going on? So those people that have more time and they say, oh, I'm moving next month. Actually, we're looking. That means they're responsible.
Yeah.
They gave their other landlord the
if
proper
you move
notice.
Tomorrow,
So if you're too desperate,
you didn't prepare for this, you know, to just now. So are you always on that time crunch? What do you have going on at home? You know, unfortunately, there are people who are, you know, are saying, hey, I'm desperate. I need to move because, you know, I need to get this job because, you know, my mom just died. I got to pay for the funeral, or I don't know, I'm getting evicted, or I'm about to lose my car, so I really need this job. And you really want to help those people out. That's the human side of you. But it's something already going on there, and you're really gonna take on that responsibility of manage, because having employees is like having children. They are technically, in a way, your responsibility to either get them home, especially if they're over the road. Whatever's going on in their personal life is gonna affect your business because they're part of making your business run. So it's a lot of things like that. Another question is from Siku Crawford, and it says, can you mention the name of the lender who does the hard money and 30-year mortgages?
Lima One Capital, and all together, Lima is spelled Lima, one like the number, and capital. If you put that in, you'll find them. And I think Straight Line Funding does it too. I've done one deal. Well, I'm closing on a deal with Straight Line Funding next week, so I can vouch for them.
Yeah, I just posted under Dallas Moore for Lima Capital. I just posted the name of the company, Lima Capital. You can get they have different types of packages, because I even think they have rental.
They do. Yeah, and they'll do a portfolio loan too. So if you have several rental properties, they'll package them all up in one loan if you like that. Sometimes that's convenient.
You know what? Buying portfolio is not usually convenient though. Maybe when you got them and you running them, that might be convenient. But when you're trying to buy some properties and they got them in portfolio, it might be a property in there that you
might not. But that's why they do it. A lot of times they'll put 5 properties in there and 3 dogs. So you got to buy all 8. Yeah. So yeah, be careful when you're buying a portfolio. But you can group your own in those.
My bad, it is Lima One Capital. Now I typed in Lima Capital at first, it's Lima One Capital, but yeah. So, okay, so credit bureau, do Lima Pool. Do you know what credit? So I don't know what they usually do to pool, but they are mostly based around what the deal is. If the deal, because what you do is you have to present them the deal. Like, they don't just say, okay, how much money you want to borrow? Okay, here go the money. You actually have to show them, hey, this is what the ARV is. This is what, you know, it's going to cost to fix it. This is what you're basically telling them what the deal is, you know, and then they're saying, oh yeah, that's a good deal. You know, we'll support that. But they're not going to give you money on something that is not going to appraise higher than,
right. They're going to protect their own interests. Yeah. You know, they don't want to take the house from you. They want the interest in those points. Right. They want to make sure if they have to take it from you, money, they're in good shape.
Yeah. They want to make sure you can sell the house in 6 months, in 6 weeks, in a year. They don't want to be in the house for a year. They want to make the money up front, and then you do another one, and they can, because they're getting like $3,000 up front or something like that every time, you know. So they want to get that money. So they want you to flip 5, 10 houses this year, because they're gonna make $30,000. But they don't want you to wait all year for them to make a couple $1,000s. They don't want that. So it's 120 people in here, and we only got 93 likes. What is wrong with the like button? Man,
the fingers
Come on, man. You gotta like this. Okay. How do you go about buying a house out of auction when you finance and they want the cash on hand?
If they're asking for cash,
I ain't got it.
You gotta usually pay that day. Like on the courthouse steps. If you buy a house at the courthouse steps on the auction, you win it. You need to go upstairs to whatever room with your certified check and pay for it. You don't have the time to get that. So most auctions is really cash, and they're actually looking for cash that day.
No, my YouTube channel, the question was by DMC. He said, does my YouTube channel pay me more for likes? Absolutely not. It goes off of views. And right now, outside of you guys doing super chat, I'm not getting any views from this that are paying because there are no ads running on the channel right now. It'll be after we get done, and then it'll probably make like $3 or something like that. Nothing crazy after this. And that's because hopefully people gonna go back and watch this. I don't know, they may not. But we're at 100 likes right now. What the likes do is, the likes show YouTube that this content is, that people are engaged in the content. And so then YouTube will get behind the channel. Like get behind the video and start sharing it automatically. You know, it's kind of like following the algorithm. So YouTube will start responding to the channel and start pushing the channel. So my video that I have, I think it's 120 something thousand views on. It's called Real Estate versus Trucking. That video really took off because, you know, it was getting the views and then people responding to it. So it had over 3,000 and something likes. Over 1,000 comments, and that's what pushed that video to the masses the way it did. It kind of went micro-viral or whatever. And YouTube basically was just backing that video at that point.
Someone asked, was this part of my retirement strategy? I'm assuming she was talking about real estate, but absolutely it's a part of it. That's why I buy and hold some of them. It could be anything, but once that property is paid off, just say I was telling a guy at work, he was 30 years old. So he was asking about real estate. So I said, if you buy 3 rental properties, just using even numbers that rent for $1,000 a month and put 15-year mortgages on them. In 15 years, you'll be 45 years old and you'll have 3 properties that bring in $1,000 a month that are free and clear. That's $3,000 a month at age 45. That's free and clear. So imagine if you had 5. Say if you had 10 properties paid off, bringing $1,000 a month, that's $10,000 a month. That's a nice salary for not doing anything. So it's definitely part of my retirement strategy.
All right, Prep said, thanks for even putting us on YouTube game, man. No problem, man. It's free money, man. You know, it's some money out here in this world. I saw a child making $3,000 an hour on YouTube. Every hour of every day. Yeah. While he's sleeping, he's making $3,000 an hour. And a lot of people may think about money in terms of like, I can't amass, you know, money. A lot of people get overwhelmed when they hear that somebody can make, or would they even have the opportunity themselves to make large amounts of money. Most people have a mental block and they can't see themselves making that money. And I told somebody, there was a guy named David, I think David Tepper. David Tepper was making $1 million an hour. He's a hedge fund manager. He was making $1 million an hour, right? He made over $3 billion in 1 year. He was making $1 million an hour. But if you told somebody that from my neighborhood, they'll think it's a lie. Ain't nobody can make that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? Like because they can't even imagine that you can amass that kind of money, and it can't be real.
If you can't imagine it, you definitely can't do it.
Right.
What's the guy say? What was the quote? I don't know who quoted. He who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both right.
Right, that's true.
Know? And I would say, everybody, including me, your biggest limitation is in your mind. Yeah. And your only competition is in the mirror. Right. At the end of the day, I mean, you could do so much more, but sometimes your own mind limits you.
Yeah. So I got a question for y'all. And this might sound a little selfish.
Henry Ford said, okay, I give him the credit.
Okay. Hey, look at this. Look, y'all are so smart, man. Y'all are so smart. Like, I'm privileged to be sitting here with you guys right now. You know, it's 116 people on this live right now, currently actually viewing. We got over 101 likes. Man, y'all smash that like button. Matter of fact, also, there's a bell. So there's a bell beside the subscribe button. I don't know if you see it, but if you haven't already pressed it, man, press it. It'll let you know the next time I upload a video. It'll automatically. You think that the subscribe button does that, but it doesn't. I don't really know what the subscribe button does, but hit the bell. The bell will actually let you know when I actually upload something. Ooh, man, somebody call him Confucius. Good God, man. God. Hey, man, look, hey. I got to meet all of y'all, okay? I'm excited to meet you guys. Hopefully, at least 50 of you guys can make it. But I'm definitely trying to meet you guys, man. This is crazy. Okay, where is a good starter market to start in real estate? I was saying your home, wherever you are. Because real estate outside of the city where you live, it sucks, okay? Because I had to fly from Kansas several times to check on a house that I wasn't really making that much money on, okay? The tickets cost, to take the lady to court was a nightmare, okay? All right, it was a nightmare. And she could have at any time, I guess, if she disagrees with something, because I was trying to do a no contest kind of eviction but she sent in a letter or took something to the courthouse and it forced us to have to go to court. So I had to fly down there to do the paperwork for the court thing, hoping that she wasn't gonna rebut it, but she did. So I had to fly back a second time just to make it to the court date. I couldn't decide the court date myself. I had to wait for the court to tell me. And I was like, look, I'm military, I don't even live here, okay? It was a nightmare. So if you're not in the city already or close where you can drive to it, man, that's a nightmare.
It is.
Unless you Grant Cardone and you got like, 1,000 units in Miami or something like that, then, it's fine. You can make that trip, because you got the money to do it. But I wasn't happy about that. Like, it was crazy. Say he spoke to Kelley today. He's supposed to send me an email, hard money lender. Hopefully we can do a flip. Okay, that's what's up. Shauna J, what's up? I see you. You can show me pictures of how my tenant is. Okay. All right. If I can show you the pictures of how my tenant in Raleigh left my house, man, look, I can only imagine, okay? I can only imagine. You must have been at Fort Riley, Kansas. No, I was Air Force. Well, yes, I'm currently still leaving Air Force, but I'm a reservist. But I was Air Force out there. I was at McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas, in the middle of nowhere. Man, listen, Kansas is not for me. I'm from the city, man. I love this. Yeah, I'm from the bright lights, big rims, skyscrapers. Kansas had that. It didn't have that. It was. I'm gonna leave you here for a second. Holler at these people. Can you hold this down? I'll be right back.
Got it, man.
Man, he got it, man. Y'all ask him something difficult. Ask him something really, really difficult. Something that.
What we got here?
I'll be right back.
Somebody in Southern California asked about a place to find cheap properties. That is going to be tough. You may have to do something out of state against what we were just talking about. I don't think there's anything cheap in Southern California. Can you take weekend classes to become a realtor? Yes, you can. Groupon has a lot. There's some that have nights and weekends, a combination of, say, 1 or 2 nights a week and all day Saturday. And you also have the online option, too. So I'm not keen on online classes, but they do have an online version. Do you prefer low-income housing? When you say low income, I'm assuming you're not talking about necessarily Section 8. A lot of times when you do low-income housing, you do have subsidies, if that's what you're talking about. I have no problem with it, but if you mean low income as far as low rental rates, I do not like low-income housing. Most accurate way to determine repair costs. Honestly, I would say get a contractor to give you bids at first. Get contractors to give you bids at first, that way you know. But once you get some experience, I can go in the house and do a rough ballpark estimate, just enough to put an offer on the property and know roughly where I'm looking at. And while I have it under contract, I get a contractor to come in and give me a true bid. Because a lot of times in this hot market, you don't have the time to actually bring a contractor in and get a precise bid before you put an offer on the property. You need to be able to go look at it, make a quick assessment, and go. So if you don't have time to get a contractor to do it, get someone that you know that has some experience to give you a rough ballpark to get going.
So Somebody said, I'm looking in hot shot and real estate right now because the semi is a killer. I figure I cut my overhead with the hot shot. Yes, that's another thing. So semi truck versus hot shot. The hot shot is of course much cheaper because it's not a semi truck. Like I go get my oil changes at Dodge. I don't have to go to a specialized big truck mechanic. And of course the engines, transmissions, all of those kind of things are gonna be completely different costs. It's much cheaper definitely to have a dually truck than a semi truck. The tires, everything. I mean, it's the axles, it's all different. So I appreciate Dodge for making this truck, really.
So I've heard real estate brokers are better than real estate agents. What is your thoughts? I've heard broker works for you and has many other options for the buyer. Not really. I mean, a broker is just basically a real estate agent. To become a broker, well, in Georgia, to become a real estate broker, you just need to be a real estate agent for 3 years and pass another test. And then you can become a broker. And agents work under you. Typically, that broker may know a little bit more, but being a broker, you pretty much get a portion of the agents that work for you's commission. But the risk to that is you have to carry the insurance, and any bad thing that agent does comes back on the broker. So they're pretty much the same thing. A broker's just an agent with more experience and took another test.
Okay, so we got a couple questions, and one of them says, are both of you guys licensed agents? Do you need a license to do what you do?
No, I'm a licensed agent, but you don't have to be a licensed agent to buy and sell properties at all. Anybody can.
When you say you two guys, I'm definitely not an agent. I'm definitely not an agent. Now, him and Kelley are agents. And if you watch the previous video with all three of us, those two guys are agents, not me and him. Right. He's an agent, I'm not. You do not need a license to flip properties.
Yeah, and actually most flippers don't. They just buy them themselves. There's some limitations. Being an agent is great. You have access to the MLS. You have all the tools and stuff to make your estimates. However, there's certain rules that real estate agents have to follow, and some flippers want to skirt those lines that being an agent won't allow you to do. But no, you don't need a license to do it. It just worked out for me because somebody that I was using to buy my properties for some reason fell off the face of the earth, and I couldn't stop my business, so I had to go and get my license myself, and it was one of the best things I could do.
Yeah, and you know, also, if you're a lawyer and you're barred in the state of Georgia, apparently you can sell property. Like you don't have to take the real estate licensure or whatever. Apparently, you're automatically a real estate agent if you wanted to be whatever. I just think the lawyers got this country rigged, okay? My sister, one of them, she a lawyer too. She a esquire, whatever you call it. Anyway, what other kind of questions do we have? Oh, Prep asked, let's see. Okay, Sly Fox said, do you have property managers? And Prep asked, how long do you think the 36-month warranty will last with all the miles being driven? The warranty is on 100,000 because I'll get to 100,000 before we get to 36 months. So it's a 100,000 mile warranty. And that's till we get there. I don't know, probably this year, hopefully.
And do I have property managers? Right now, no. I recommend people use them, but you have to find a good property manager, somebody that's going to rent your house quickly, take care of it, not mark up a $100 repair to $250 and send you the bill for it. So my portfolio, as I'm looking at it right now, what I would have to pay a property manager to manage my portfolio, I could actually afford an assistant to work for me. So what I'm going to do is start shopping around, trying to find someone to manage my properties for me for the same thing I would end up paying a property manager. So they'll do things the way I want it done. Properties will get rented faster. My maintenance guy does things for cheaper. But I would recommend most people use a property manager until your portfolio is large enough that you can hire an assistant. And you don't want to self-manage. I've done that. It's just bad. Calling your phone, texting your phone, getting emotional with you, making you mad while you're at work. Get a property manager, but you have to be careful and find a good one.
Hey, y'all do me a favor, man, because Harold, what side of town you live on?
I live on the west side, Cascade Road.
So he live on the exact opposite side of town. Could y'all do me a favor and let him know y'all appreciate him coming and drop a C in the comment section? Well, in the chat, drop a C in the chat. I said that to drop something in the comment section one time, and people started dropping them in the comments in the chat. But man, look it up. They appreciate you.
Man, there it is. Thanks.
They appreciate you. And all y'all need to be looking for a deal and partner up with this guy. Let's all get this money. I'm not even in the real estate like they doing. I'm just the medium between. So, okay, I plan on buying a semi. I think it's money to be made with the semi also. Yeah, I think it's definitely money to be made in trucking because unlike other businesses, like what I was talking about with the music business, a lot of people don't succeed in music because they don't know where the money really is. Nobody really knows how, very few independent artists actually even know how to get money out of the music business. And that's why a lot of people don't make it because they're constantly putting money in it, but they can't even project out how much money they're gonna make on that next project because they don't even know how to get people to give them money for it. So this is a business where, it's not like that. Like it's money already there sitting on a load board and you just have to have the tools to get the money, Even with a rental, people are in the market to rent and that you can get people to rent. The only problem is with that is you still have to find out how to get it out. Now, these guys know how to get the rental in front of you, but there's somebody somewhere who has a place for rent and they don't know where to advertise to let people know that they have that place for rent. And so the first person who comes along and say, oh, I can't afford, $1,000 a month, but I'll give you $600, and you know what I'm saying? They'll probably take it because they're like, I'm in this area, I don't know even how to let people know I got this place for rent, and they're desperate. And so, but if you know how to get it out, I mean, you can use real estate agents, you got all kind of mediums, you can use websites, you can do all of that, but there's somebody out there who's not savvy on any of that and they got a place for rent and they don't know how to get it out, or they put it in Craigslist or something like that and they're not finding the quality tenant that they really need. And so it's all like a process. So if you're in trucking, just go to a load board, it's there. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean you're gonna get the best loads, but you know where the money is and you know that there's easily an opportunity to get money from that. Somebody was asking me, hit the like button. Nicole, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you. Man, I can't believe it's still over 100 people on this chat right now. And y'all sticking with us. I know some of y'all got some bad kids at home and, need to put them in the bed. Some of them need to be in the shower or something like that. And I appreciate y'all for sticking in here with us like this. This is crazy. This is a crazy night for me. But real quick, I was thinking about doing a video on obsession. A lot of people have been asking me, how did I get to where I am? How am I able to manage multiple different businesses and things like that and being a full-time employee? Because I also spend a lot of time and energy in doing these videos and going around town and even setting up and editing videos. I edit my own videos. I do my own sound. I do everything. I built my own ring light that we're using right now. But people ask me, how am I able to do all of those things and how I was able to even start a trucking business or things like that. How I was able to get to where I am. And it is one simple word, and it is obsession. I believe that if you obsess over something, you can do anything. It doesn't matter if it's becoming a lawyer. If you obsess over becoming a lawyer, you're gonna become a lawyer. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if you read well. If you obsess over something, you're gonna get it. If you obsess over $1 million, you're gonna get $1 million. Now, whether or not you hold on to that $1 million or whatever it is, but if you obsess over something, and that's all you do. I went to sleep thinking about trucks. I woke up thinking about trucks. I read everything I could about trucks. I called organizations that regulated the trucking business. I talked to truckers. I would sit outside of gas stations where I knew were trucking gas stations, and I would wait for dump trucks, I would wait for semi trucks, I would wait for hotshot trucks to pull up, and I would get out and I would stand out there and talk to them people while they pumping their gas. Hey man, you don't mind? I was obsessed, and that's all you have to do. If you obsess over anything, if you obsess over real estate, you're gonna be flipping houses. If you obsessed over it, you talk to every real estate agent you know. You talk to everybody who you know who's interested in the same kind of thing. You read books on it. You go on websites. You watch videos. If you obsess over something, you will be upset. You will be successful. It doesn't matter what it is. If I was wanting to go into the NBA and I was obsessed early enough in my life, I would have made it to the NBA. I'm only 5'10", but I would have made it to the NBA because they're all guys who shorter than me. I may not have been the fastest, may not have been the strongest, may not have been the best jumping, but if I obsessed over it and I worked at it, I would be successful in that. Even if I could make it to the NBA, I might be playing overseas somewhere in a professional sport. That is as simple as success is to be.
It is.
And anyway, Geek Surgeon, man, he been riding strong with us. Nicole, you been riding strong with us. A lot of y'all, Miss Jones, man. Look, it's a lot of y'all been riding strong with us, man. I appreciate y'all. And yes, the government is shut down right now. Hold on, what was that about? The government is shut down. It's going to motivate entrepreneurship. Absolutely.
I wish they shut my job. No, the DOD budget was passed in September, so I'm still going to work.
Yeah.
Some people gonna get paid.
I'm
they're gonna get paid retroactively.
I'm shut down.
And they got a lot of time on their hands.
I'm
That's
shut
good.
down. Yeah, it's a lot of time out here. But this allows me to explore other avenues. And luckily, I have businesses and I have other things. I have other residual income, so it doesn't affect me like there are people that I know who work together and they both work in the same organization, and that organization is shut down. That's two chicks are not coming in, and they were never veterans, without any VA disability, without any kind of other compensation, and they were usually making a decent living. And some people may not make a decent living. Some people might only make $40,000 a year working for the government, and both partners in that relationship are both working for that same agency, and they were making $40,000-$50,000 a year, and they cannot go 2 and 3 checks without receiving anything, and they're going down to the home unemployment office and applying for unemployment while this time is going on, and it is a scary time for a lot of people. So even when the government gets refunded, if ever we get refunded, people are not going to spend money the way that they were spending money when they thought they had that.
Because they thought it was a secure job, and when you don't have a secure president, you don't have a secure job.
And what people don't realize is that over 1% of the government is the largest employer in the United States. They employ more people than anybody in the United States. And so now you're going to have these people who have these somewhat middle class jobs, upper middle class jobs, $100,000, $200,000 a year. Some people are even making, and some people making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. But you're gonna have these people who were usually putting money into the economy. Now they're gonna be holding on to their money and trying to, prepare themselves for the worst,
which makes things go farther snowball.
Right.
When people become afraid, they stop spending money.
We have 800,000 people right now furloughed, or 800,000. I don't know. It might be 400,000, but it's several 100,000 people who are furloughed right now who did not receive a check today for the first time in, I guess, since the last government shutdown. They didn't receive a check, but now I think we're tied right now for the longest government shutdown in history today. Yeah. And so we're getting ready to this is going to be the longest shutdown in history in probably another day or so. And for the first time, I ain't gonna say for the first time, but it's really going to affect the way people spend money. 800,000 people did not receive checks today.
Wow.
And some of those people are families who got children and things like that. So, that's another reason why this channel is important to me, because we get to talk about other ways to think about money. Remember, the glass is half full and not half empty. Hopefully some of them took this time to work on that craft that may pay them 10 times what the government can pay them, or something like that, or just something. We had 107 likes.
I'm getting questions on my text message. Got a question for you asking, okay. Do you have to have an ELD to operate?
If you are running with a CDL Class A, yes, you do have to have an ELD in your truck. An ELD is electronic log. Previously, they used to have paper logs before I was in trucking, because since I've been in trucking, ELD is mandatory. I think you can drive up to 8 days a month without using your ELD. So you can do paper logs for up to 8 days a month, but you have to run paper logs from that point. I mean, electronic logs after 8 days. And electronic logs to me are pretty cool because they track the truck and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, see, Ms. Jones said yes, 8 days. Look, hey, so I know something, right? Because these real estate guys, they think they know something, you know what I'm saying? But come in my world, we good over here. But yeah, so you can run and ELDs to me, I mean, I don't know how to drive it though, but they put a clock, it's a clock, so it tells you how long you can run. Like, you have to take a break every 8 hours. You can run up to 11 hours in one day, or driver can drive up to 11 hours in one day, but he has to take a 30-minute break every 8 hours, in an 8 hour.
So basically, it's a safety-driven type thing.
Yeah, but these are things that you're supposed to do anyway, but it's just the ELD monitors it. Because back in the day, now I don't know none who did this, you know what I'm saying? But what I heard was some truck drivers was not doing what they were supposed to do and was driving like 12, 13 hours and just, changing up,
have two log
the paperwork. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was fudging the numbers a little. I don't know. I ain't never seen it before, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying y'all did it, but, that's what I heard. But the ELD, you can't fake it. You can't do nothing with it. It's tracking the truck too. So for somebody like me who has a fleet or who's a fleet owner or something like that, we just log in, we can tell you where the truck is, so if somebody that took, because let's say you have a flatbed. Back in the day, you had a flatbed, somebody could have been picking up loads. If they had the truck, they could have been picking up loads on their own time and doing their own little side thing on this other person's truck.
The gas.
With their gas, exactly. But now we be like, hey man, where you going? You know what I'm saying? So now it's just a lot different. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to get off of here, man. We appreciate all y'all sticking in here with us, man. Is the ELD expensive? I've been out of the truck. No, it's like $30 a month or something like that. I use Keep Trucking ELD, and it also tracks your IFTA. So whenever you get gas, so real quick, we'll talk about this. So the ELD plugs into the computer of the truck, right? So whenever you stop to get gas, it knows how much gas you got, because the computer of the truck is telling, oh yeah, you got 10 gallons here, you got 20 gallons here, whatever. So it knows how many gallons you got. And so with IFTA, you have to pay a fuel tax on every state that you go to. Regular people don't know about this, but commercial drivers have to pay a fuel tax for every state that they go to. So if I go to Florida and get gas while I'm running a load in Miami, I got to pay a fuel tax in Florida. That's after I've got the gas. Like it's separate. So the ELD will let you know how many gallons you got in that state, and it tracks it inside the back. So when you get ready to say, okay, well, how many gallons did I get in Florida this year, or whatever, it's already in the device, and it'll, you can just get that information out of the device, versus trying to say, okay, well, I think I got gas, or looking at receipts and trying to do all of that. It's already calculated. So it's a beautiful thing to me, but I also never experienced the old system. I just know the new system. Man, we appreciate you, Nicole, man. I'm out of here, man.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, we're going to do that meet and greet. I'm going to meet all y'all, and you know what I'm saying, we're going to do some cool stuff. We might even walk and check out some of his flips or something like that, or some of his rental properties. We are going to check out the Airbnb. Tomorrow I'm going to upload a video. It's not going to be live, but I'm going to just upload a video. I'm going to go to visit his Airbnb rental, and it's getting staged. It got staged.
It should be staged. I'm gonna text my stager.
It has a stager.
Staging is very important.
He got a stager. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, these guys fast. These real estate guys, they fast.
I learned that from selling homes. I think they said homes that are professionally staged sell faster and for more money. So I didn't have enough time to go and buy furniture and pick it out. So I called my stager that stages the properties that I sell, and she's purchasing, getting everything from the Airbnb, including the pots, pans, silverware, linens, and it's supposed to be in the house tonight. So we'll take a look at it tomorrow.
He called a stager. I called my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would have did. I was like, Mom, I need you to come over here and bring some pillows or something. I don't know. But anyway, so you got some questions? Oh, what you was finna say? I don't know what she's trying to say over there. We'll be ready Super Bowl weekend. Will it be Super Bowl weekend? Will it be ready Super Bowl weekend?
Yes, it will. That's the objective. The only reason the main reason I'm doing it now is to make sure it's ready Super Bowl weekend. It should be ready this weekend. So I'm gonna rent it out a few weeks before the Super Bowl week, and I'll test it out for a few weeks after that, and I'll decide whether or not I'm gonna keep renting it out as AirBnB.
And shout out to Princess. She said to make sure I say shout out to Princess. I'm gonna let y'all know I'm being forced into this. All right. So shout out to Princess for being my what do you call this? My note taker for this live. She wrote down all the questions big on the board so I could see. Where did you get the board from? All right, but the point is, can I get first dibs? She said, can she get first dibs on it? Do you want to tell her how much you plan on renting out for?
I don't want to say a number just yet. I need to check the comps on Airbnb. But yeah, send me a message either on my email or IG, and it's Homes by Harold at both. And who's that person who said that?
Somebody said thank you.
So I can be looking for
that was Shauna J.
Shauna J. Send me a message, and we can talk about it tomorrow. And I can send some pictures if you don't. Also, you can look at the video, and you'll see it tomorrow as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If I can get this thing rented before I put it on the market, that'd be good.
Drop your info one more time.
There's Homes by Harold, HOMESBYHAROLD at Gmail, and that's the same on Instagram.
Look, she dropped that Home by Harold.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and it's on Instagram, just like that. And how many flips you got going on right now?
Right now, I don't have any. I've got a property that I was renting out.
Kelley does mostly the flips, and he does most of the commercial rentals.
I have a flip starting in about 3 weeks. I've got to get some tenants out of a property, and I'm also looking to put a contract on another flip, and I'm going to be talking to Kelley about doing the work for me.
They said Prince is more the real MVP. So, they are going to be working on some stuff together. Me, I'm going to be just, not working on what they working on, but I'm going to be in the, I'm going to be with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm investing in truck and they're investing in real estate. We come together, you know what I'm saying? We're going to try and cross market, you know what I mean? So I got to flip on the market right now. CV said he got to flip on the market right now.
Oh, man, where's it located?
30K profit.
That's good. On the flip, but
CV,
make sure you account for your taxes.
Let me hold some, you know what I'm saying?
Make sure you put something to the side for taxes.
Let me get $15 at you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got it. All right, let's see. Thanks, Rome. Princess to my thank Rome about business. Yeah, man. Anyway, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming out and watching us tonight. He said he holler at hard money. CV said he holler at hard money.
Absolutely.
To hold the bread.
Keep as much money in your pocket as you can.
Yeah. Or you can put some of it in mine. You know what I mean?
Oh, mine. I'm
trying to get some of his money. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we out of here. I appreciate y'all. And also, if you could, drop a thumbs up if you like this video. Just one thumb. One thumb up.
And if you haven't liked it yet, like it before we sign off.
You know what? Not even a thumbs up. Do this one. You know this one? The arm. Drop this one. Hello. Hello? Hey, Jazzy. Jazzy, what up? Look, I got a call to say hey to Jazzy. Jazzy, what's happening? Could y'all say hey, Jazzy? I don't know if y'all can do it, but if y'all can say hey, Jazzy, because she's how old is Jazzy? $4.99. Appreciate that, Shauna. Thank you. Shauna J just dropped $4.99, man. That's a strong $4.99. And the arms going like this. They said, hey, Jazzy. That's what's up. How old is Jazzy? She 9 still? They hung up on me. That's embarrassing. You know how embarrassing that is. I was like this. Oh, with 84 people watching me, thinking I'm talking to somebody. They went on the phone.
She said yes.
Okay.
Yes, she on the phone.
Jazzy is 9 years old, man. I appreciate y'all for saying hey to Jazzy. She is the daughter of a mayor, okay? But I appreciate y'all saying hey to Jazzy. Jazzy, what's up? Young queen. ND $2, man. Look, y'all don't understand. Like this is amazing. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you. Anyway, we gone. And look forward to tomorrow. Me and him are gonna walk through his Airbnb, and show you guys around, and it should be all staged, hopefully, because his stager ain't staged early. We were supposed to did it early, but
yeah, she got stuck in
traffic.
She's got a good reputation. We got a good track record with her, so I give her the benefit of the doubt this time.
She got stuck in quote unquote traffic. I don't know.
I know that furniture better be in there tonight
though. Yeah. You know, my mama would have had it in there. You know what I'm saying? So
maybe I should call her next time.
He said, "Send me that song." Which song? Hold on, Jazzy. Oh yeah, Princess says, "Jazzy, we have your Christmas gift." What song? Somebody said, "Send me that song." So I got a song called "Made a Million by Myself." Oh, I don't know what song. Oh, what time? Whatever time we.
Yeah, well, it won't be live though.
No, it won't be live. We're not gonna do it live. I'm gonna go through, record it.
But if you hit the bell, you'll know when
exactly.
He posts it,
that's a genius right here, man.
It rub it off on me.
That's a genius. And you know, just so y'all know who I am, you know, I'm finna. How do I look? First of all, can y'all tell me? Do I look presentable? Do I look serious about my business right now? No, ain't got no comments. I guess not. Anyway, just so y'all know, just a little snippet about me. When I got out of the military, out of Germany, I had options to like work for like NASA, Lockheed Martin, and I turned them down to go work or to go back to school for accounting, because I could have done avionics forever, and they were paying a lot of money because I was integrated avionics. So you're not talking to a dummy, okay? I might be from the hood, but we clever over here. We smart guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, we'll let them be harder, we'll be smarter. So anyway, we out of here. Let's get this money, y'all. This is the Wealth Group. Oh yeah, and then somebody did mention, have we thought about creating a wealth group for people to invest in, since guys like you can vet.
A crowdfunding, that was the
question?
Crowdfunding,
yeah. Yes. That's not a bad idea.
Definitely.
I had thought about it, but that's not a bad idea. Anyway, we out of here.